What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? It's Al, Black Spinner Circle vidcast, with my co-host Andy Rodriguez below me.
Hey guys, how's it going?
How are you, brother?
I'm doing fantastic, man.
I always get caught off guard going live.
Well, you always say I'm ready, and then
Oh man, Jerry Soupy, how are you doing, brother?
Doing good, man. I'm happy. I finally have a champion team, man. I'm still stoked about the Panthers being the Stanley Cup champions.
Congratulations, bro.
Had a great week at the river with my son-in-law's family, and every time I get a chance to spend time with my daughter, it's just a great fucking time. So the last week and a half has been totally awesome for me. I can't complain at all.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah, man. Fucking. I thought they were goners, bro.
Oh, I did too, man. I was packing it in, man. When you get outscored 18-5 in the last 3 games, it's like, oh shit, man. It was looking pretty grim, but yeah, thank God. I mean, yeah, I'm happy.
That was one hell of a game 7 too.
Ooh. Yeah, it was. Dude, I was like, boom, 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 boom. I mean, it was fucking sports, man.
It was high energy all through the game, man.
Yeah. Loved it, man. I'm still in disbelief. Actually, I really am. I mean, they've been the armpit of the league since they basically came out. The last few years are getting better, so it's just I stuck with them, and I'm glad I did, man. It's paying off. So
cool, man. Glad to have you on. You're always a regular here and always great guest. So
I love being here, man. Love it.
Another great one, Joseph Staub. How you doing, my friend?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited with this topic. This is a really fun topic to think about.
Yeah, dude, I figured since summer has started, why not, instead of doing summer songs, let's do albums that remind you of summer,
Yeah.
And top 10, 5 honorables if you want. Just albums that, like, when you're in the backyard grilling or in the pool or
exactly
partying, you throw on an album, man, and it exudes like summer feelings for you. I mean, they don't have to sing about summer, but it could just be kind of an upbeat album or whatever, man. Whatever makes you feel like summer out, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think there's going to be too many Norwegian black metal albums on this list.
No.
Well, I better change my list.
Mayhem,
back to the drawing board. Back to the drawing board, I guess.
Trying to write me of all people Norwegian black metal.
Anyway, yeah, that's the topic for tonight, man. Top 10 summer albums. Before we get started, we usually do our What's Spinning segment.
Yep.
Jerry, man, what have you been spinning, bro?
Actually, yeah, I've been this is actually a discussion we had in our 3 Shots Down podcast about Syd Barrett. I've been listening to his solo album, The Madcap Laughs, lately.
Oh.
It's a mixed bag. There's some genius in here, then there's some total fucking blah. I mean, I don't know what the fuck he's on, but it's actually the songs that are good are really good. I mean, I don't know how, or I don't understand why. Well, I guess a lot of people really didn't like Syd Barrett and Pink Floyd like I do. Maybe I don't know, but
I love the Barrett stuff, man.
Yeah, I mean, this is good stuff. You should check them out.
I know Joseph doesn't, but I never used to be into it, man, until I played in the band and the bass player was like total like Syd Barrett, like he loved them, man, and he was like, check out like some of the earlier stuff, and I got like that Pink Floyd Shine On box set, and it has a disc in there that's the early singles, and it had a lot of the early Syd Barrett thing, and I thought about they some of it kind of remind me like almost kind of Doors like, more heavy on the organ than guitar and stuff like that. But I dug it, man. I got into it. I love Piper at the Gates of Dawn. I love the first album.
Yeah, great.
I think those solo albums are. I think because David Gilmour helped produce them.
Yeah.
I think he kind of reeled them in. He made the songs good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At that point, I think Syd just kind of needed somebody to help him, so.
Also, I've been getting in. It's always been one of my favorite bands. I really love the Little River Band. I've always gotten into them. And these new remasters that came out last year are just fantastic, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
cool.
They just like fucking just are exploding, in your ears. It's so good. They got one that has basically all their hits and one that's got like a lot of deep tracks on them. Really good stuff, man. I know, they're definitely a band that gets swept under the rug a lot and not talked about much, but they're really one of the best vocal bands ever, in my opinion.
And a great summer band.
It is, yeah.
They are.
I'm looking forward to this. My buddy Wayne Noon, I got his album today. I'm looking forward
I need to get one of those. I need to order one.
Yeah, looking forward to I haven't listened to it yet. I'm looking forward to listening to it probably tonight or tomorrow. But that'll be my next thing that I do listen to. Maybe talk about it, next time I'm on the show or something.
Okay.
I've liked his other stuff so far, so I'm sure I'm probably gonna like this. I like his stuff with Absalon and the previous Severed Angel stuff. Man, good stuff, man. It really is. That's about it for me.
Cool. Joe, man, what do you got, bro?
All right. So if you know me, I'm a huge fan of particularly the early period of Queen. And one of my favorite things that they put out in the last 10 years was the Live at the Rainbow set from 74. Particularly, I have the deluxe CD that has both shows on it. It's the first disc is a show from the Queen 2 tour in March of 74, and the second disc is a show from the Sheer Heart Attack tour in November of 74, both at the same venue at the Rainbow. And it's really interesting to be able to hear how much they grew as a band just in that 8-month period. And you can see them adding all the different songs into the set list. And of course, it's only their first 3 albums on this release. So being able to put out a 25 song set of just the first 3 albums and
that's
cover
right up
songs.
my alley.
Oh, hell yeah.
So, I mean, really killer live versions of stuff from those first 3 albums. I mean, you pretty much get the entirety of those first 3 albums on here, aside from a couple of the tracks on Queen 1 and some of the short stuff on Sheer Heart Attack. Really great. And there's a DVD version as well of the November show. So it's a full DVD of the show. And then they also have the CD version that has both shows on it. It's just really great hearing. Really, they were just on fire at that point in their career, just on their second and third albums, to be putting on shows of this quality. And they were just such a great live band, especially at this point. And so anyone that loves Queen, but really maybe I know it's very common amongst a lot of casual Queen fans to be a little bit more wary of the early stuff. It's a little too proggy and kind of weird for some people. But this, I think, is a really great introduction to some of that stuff, because you get, especially on the November show, you still get stuff that would continue to play later on. So stuff like Now I'm Here and Killer Queen and Seven Seas of Rye. So songs that maybe some of the more fans of later Queen might still know, but it's also mixed in with some of the really great deeper cuts from those early albums, like Ogre Battle, Father to Son, White Queen, March of the Black Queen, just some of that really great kind of heavier stuff that people that really love the early Queen albums really enjoy. So I definitely recommend this set, particularly if you're not really into the early era of Queen as much. Definitely the DVD, because it's the November show, so it's probably more songs that people would be aware of. Plus, you get to really just see how amazing they were on stage with that stage show. But yeah, Queen Live at the Rainbow 74. I love that they're going back and releasing some of this stuff within the last decade or so. They did the Odeon at 75 show too. They just put out a remastered edition of the Montreal show from 81. They put it out on 4K, and they re-released the CD version as well. So it's a great time in the last couple 10 years or so to be a Queen fan. So much great stuff coming out from them. So Queen Live at the Rainbow 74.
That right there, man. That's when they were just a kick-ass heavy rock band, dude.
Yeah.
They didn't really get too Broadway-ish yet, And some of that's okay, I like some of that stuff. But those first three albums, dude.
Man.
That's the cream of the crop for me, man.
Absolutely. Mine as well, man. That's absolutely.
Yeah. I do love A Night at the Opera too. I think that's a great one. I mean, they had great albums after that, but
Day at the Races was good. Fucking
News of the World's amazing.
News of the World, fantastic.
They always mix it up and put heavy rock and stuff on those albums. So it's the it's the thing, if you're gonna dive into Queen, if you just be amazed at when you hear the deep cuts, how fucking heavy they could be. Dude.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff you hear
Oh,
on the
yeah.
radio, I think to me doesn't do them justice.
No.
To be honest with you, man, but you know, you
One,
gotta
I
really
know
dive
that's
deep.
listening to Rock and Metal Combat. That's what Ian always said was that he always heard the radio stuff and thought they were too fruity of a band,
Yeah,
and then didn't really give the heavier stuff a chance.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, man, dude, they can be fucking real heavy, man.
Yeah, the only
There-
dud I thought.
there-
I'm sorry. Go
Go
ahead.
Gosh, yeah.
No, I was gonna say, dare I say, there's even moments they can rival Sabbath in heaviness, man. In my opinion, you know.
Sure.
Oh wow.
Stone Cold.
Yeah.
The only
Stone
dud.
Cold Crazy.
Oh,
The only dud I thought they had
Overpowered.
was Hot Space. That was the only album I thought that was a dud.
Mhm.
yeah,
I
that's
like the works. I love the last two albums.
I'm
they
not a
fucking
huge
did.
fan.
I loved
Oh, the
I
Miracle,
love-
the Miracle
go
and Innuendo are
the
amazing.
Miracle and Innuendo are fucking
Yeah.
fantastic albums, man.
Yeah.
Seriously. So yeah, great fucking band, dude. One of the
great,
best.
man.
Huh.
All right, man. Andy, what do you got, bro?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to revisit Queen because y'all always talk about them so much. So I wanna, I'll get into them. I'll try them again. Because I got Queen too, and I do have Sheer Heart Attack on CD,
Those are perfect ones to get into.
and I've heard them, and I was like, okay, so I'll get another try. But I've been listening to a lot of stuff lately. A lot of stuff. I want to say hi to our buddy Jimmy. How's it going, Jimmy? But one that stuck out to me was this early Chili Peppers album. I think it might be their first one.
That's their first one.
Actually.
That's the first one. Yeah.
Okay, now I'm not familiar with them. Is that the same four guys, or they
No.
have
No.
different lineup? There.
It wasn't even. It wasn't even. The guitar player wasn't even.
It wasn't.
It wasn't.
John Frusciante. John
No.
Frusciante?
Oh, he didn't.
No,
come
the
till
guy
later.
before him.
It wasn't
Why am I-
Slovak.
Why am I fucking up on his name now?
Well, it was Slovak, right? That was his last name.
No, but he wasn't on that
No.
first album.
he wasn't on the first
He
one.
wasn't.
There's somebody named Martinez or something like that was on the first album.
Oh, okay.
But
What happened was, just real quick.
yeah, sure.
What was his name again? The Slovak. Hillel Slovak.
Hillel.
Okay.
Yeah,
got it.
right.
Hillel Slovak was in the band before they did their first album. All right, he was part of the original lineup. When they went to go record the first album, something happened. He had to leave the band or something like that, and he didn't record that first album with the band.
Right.
Okay. After that, then he came back, and then the remainder of the '80s up until Mother's Milk, when Frusciante came in, he was the guitar player. He is considered the original guitar player, though. Even though he's not on that first album, he is the original guy. So
But the other three are the originals then. Flea.
no,
Anthony,
Chad
no?
Smith wasn't even in them either.
No,
Okay.
it was Cliff Martinez was the drums on here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jack Sherman was the guitars.
Hank Sherman was it? Who was it?
Jack Sherman.
Jack Sherman. Hank Sherman's Merciful
Merciful
Fate.
Fate.
Jack Sherman, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
because Hillel Slovak and the drummer Irons left at the same time before
Jack
they
Irons.
Yeah.
Yes.
and then both of them came back.
Yes. Yep. So that first album's kind of a weird. It doesn't have them guys on it. You
Right.
know, they had two replacement guys do the album, and then they came back, and then Jack Irons later on, man, he went out to Pearl Jam, and
right.
he's a great drummer, man. Actually, like he's very revered as a drummer. So, but yeah, that first album, man, funky as shit, man.
Yeah.
It's-
I really like the Chili Peppers. Not just a certain point. I like it all. I like the way that they change album to album. I think they've had a very interesting career. So
being
here's their first one that I've been spinning.
I know their later stuff is like popular and stuff, but really, I being honest with myself, after one hot minute, I was kind of out on that, man. Like when they came back with Californication, all that stuff, I wasn't into it, man. You know, I not to say that there isn't a song here and there that I didn't like, but as a whole, like whole albums, pretty much after like Blood Sugar, it's like I did like one hot minute with Dave Navarro. I thought they were really rocking on that album, and then after that, they lost it for me. I mean, they were away for quite a few years until they reunited again,
Yeah.
and then I was just like, I like the earlier stuff. Not to say that, I mean, if you love the later stuff, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
You know, they did progressive. they progress as a band, and they've had longevity, man. I mean,
Yeah.
for a band that the way they started out, man, like when nobody really got them in the '80s, man.
Yeah.
They were like so far out, like from everything else, you know.
Yeah,
So,
I mean the first thing
well,
I heard from him was that Stevie Wonder cover. What's it called?
and that's already like 5 albums in, I
Yeah.
think. Like that's Mother's Milk. So that's the first album.
higher ground.
Higher
Yeah,
Ground.
that's
Right there, yeah.
That's the album with Frusciante and Chad Smith. That's the first album with those guys. You know,
Right.
and that's a great album. I love Mother's Milk. That's a great album.
Yeah.
You know, so
But I was
Well,
going to
That would be a big mistake. That's not right. How's the correct, Al?
that would be a waste of time.
That's it right there. Thank you.
No, I listened to them all the way to. I really liked Californication. That was their big selling. I don't want to call it breakthrough, but it was a huge album for them. And Stadium Arcadium. I know that people complain that it's a double album, but it's a mature sounding, Blood Sugar Sex Magic to me. I mean, it goes in all different directions. And then right there, like I was saying, was a hit or miss with singles, and I was like just okay with complete albums, but they had a really good run there in the late 80s into the 90s into the early 2000s. That's a long time, and to think that the way that they started off, like I was saying, that they would be, I mean, still being headliners on festivals,
Yes,
and
selling out stadiums.
yeah, it's crazy that they turned out that way almost 40 years later.
Yeah, their style of music just never appealed to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I would never say that they suck because they're great musicians, all of them. So, so I just never could get into their style of music. That was my big problem. Actually, I like One Hot Minute's their best album because it's more rockier. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Navarro almost brought a little bit of a metal. He brought almost a little bit of a metal edge into it.
Yeah, and I heard that was hated with the diehard Chili Pepper fans. Didn't like
exactly.
it. So
and that's the album I don't like because it takes away that funk rock that they were different from everybody else.
Yeah.
And when it came out to One Hot Minute, they were sounding like everybody else on the radio.
It was basically they were sounding like Jane's Addiction, because of Dave Navarro.
Yeah.
Right.
Basically.
Right. With that metallic guitar.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Basically, if the Red Hot Chili Peppers played Jane's Addiction, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were. I don't know. I didn't like that whole that whole scene or that whole vibe that they were doing with One Hot Minute. So I kind of went away on that one. But
Yeah, that's the one oddball album in their catalog. It's a very, very divisive album amongst like the Chili Peppers fans.
right.
I consider myself more of a casual fan, so that's why I probably like that album. I don't have like their whole discography. I never really seeked it out. But I remember them back in my like BMX biking days, and I had skater friends, and my skater friends used to listen to the early Chili Peppers because that's they were almost like punk, man, in a way,
yeah.
and all the skaters, man, they were like listening to all that stuff, and it permeated into like what I heard, and so I remember the early stuff, man, like a lot, when they used to ride their routines and listen to music while riding. The Chili Peppers played a lot, along with a lot of other punk rock that they like to play in hardcore and stuff like that. So that's kind of how I got into that kind of thing, because I was just a metalhead kid growing up and kind of didn't know that scene, So yeah, that's cool, man. Just like when you hang out with different people, man, it's like us on the podcast.
Yeah.
Back then, it was just like the whole skater like BMX scene. That was like a whole kind of like scene that like a whole bunch of different people that were very different, would get together, and the one common thing was the skating or the BMX biking and all that stuff. But then everybody like loved listening to music too. So everybody, yeah, check out this cassette and this, and it's fucking cool, man. I mean,
yeah,
as a fucking, growing up, man, just, as music lovers, man, we all kind of went through like a thing like that. It then wasn't BMX for you guys, but probably something different. Just going cruising and meeting up with friends cruising and shit like that.
That's what a lot of my albums tonight are going to be about, just about. So
yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. All right, man. So I've been kind of on an Ingve kick, so I've been listening to this one, Odyssey.
Ooh,
Um,
Lynn
oh, wow.
Turner.
Yeah, with Joe Lynn Turner, the only album with Joe Lynn Turner.
Yeah, good album.
If there's gonna be, I guess if Ingve is gonna have a summer album, this is probably gonna be it. It's not on my list or anything, but this is about as commercial as he got. You know, Having the Night was the closest he got to like a hit single. I think it hit like number 40 on the Billboard charts. Or no, the album actually, I think the album hit 40, and I think the song was like 50 or something like that. I mean, it's not a fucking huge hit or anything, but I remember it getting some radio airplay back in the day, and the video was kind of got a lot of video play too. So I got this from Kate Doré actually.
Oh,
She sent this to me, so it's looking. I mean, it's still in the shrink wrap, dude. I mean, it still has the fucking original price on it and
Awesome.
the hype sticker. Yeah, she hooked me up, man. She gave me a few albums, and this was like one of them. So we traded. I sent her some stuff too, but she was like, I know you like guitar and all that. And she was like, if you like this Ingve, I'll send it to you. So yeah, I've been spinning this one. So I've been kind of on a little bit of an Ingve kick. You know, that's what I've been spinning. Really, that's really it. Besides like the summer kind of things, you know, summer albums. So yeah, so that's what's spinning. Anything you want to add, Andy? Anything going on?
No, same old, same old. I'm ready to get started with
All right,
this.
man, we'll get started, man. Number 10, Jerry, man, kick it off, bro.
Yeah, okay, man. Graduation year, 1989, man. This album came out the previous year, but it was still major at the time. And Joseph, I don't know. You're a younger guy. Do you still got? You guys don't have keggers anymore, do you?
Not really, no.
Like we did back in the day. Well,
Yeah.
I just remember.
Oh,
And
yeah,
Justice-
I remember those.
I remember, and Justice for All was huge. And I remember it. You know, there was a big kegger out in the woods the last day of school or graduation year, and every time I hear this album, it just reminds me of that night and that party with all my friends. Because you're at a point there, you're in your senior year in high school, you're not going to see some of these people ever again. You know what I mean? Or very rarely. You know what I mean? Like instead of every day you see them. So yeah, I mean, every time I hear that album, that kind of reminds me of that certain day. I still talk to. I mean, some of them unfortunately have passed. Some of them I'm still in touch with. Some of them I'm not. But it's just it's memories like that you know, like we talked about. Just you know, when you hear a song or an album, put it on, takes you back to a certain day, and that's what that album does for me. So that's my number 10, and Justice for All, Metallica.
Yeah, I was going to put that on my list, but I talked about that album so much. But but there was a summer when I was introduced to it. I was a freshman in high school when that came out. The summer before I was a freshman, and we were camping in my friend's backyard with a tent and everything. And our other friend Randy Smart, which I'll talk about him again shortly. You know, he brought the tape over, and we heard that album all night long. It was fantastic. It was something that was so different to us, you know.
Yeah.
All right, cool, Joseph. What do you got?
So a lot of my albums are, as you have probably heard on this and other shows, I've talked a lot about sitting around the fire pit with my dad and his friends. And a lot of these albums are albums that take me back to that, or take me back to similar kind of situations that might remind me of the summer. And this is one of those albums. Before I give my number 10, I really had a hard time with some of this list because there's several bands, 3 in particular, that I really think of as summer bands, but not really a specific album from them. And so it was 3 bands that I really want to talk about just briefly, but I didn't include an album on my list. The first one is The Police. I mean, really great summer vibe, but it's not like one specific album that I think of when I think of summer. If I had to pick one, I was going to choose Synchronicity. That's one of my honorable mentions. But like just in general, that leaves off like stuff like Walking on the Moon and Driven to Tears and so many great like kind of summer vibe songs. Mm-hmm. Another one, which I'm sure at least one of the people on this dais is going to talk about, is Rush. I think Rush is a huge summer band for me, but it really kind of spans a lot of albums. And it's like I'll be sitting around the fire pit with my dad and his friends, and YYZ will come on, or something like Circumstances, or like just spread out through that classic run of albums. And the third one, which I was thinking about putting their greatest hits on here, but I didn't, was Steely Dan. I mean, just a classic summer band, so many great songs. Again, another one that kind of really spans multiple albums. You got early stuff, you got Reelin' in the Years on some of the earliest stuff. Then you got with Asia and Peg and Deacon Blues and all that kind of stuff. And I think those are like the three bands that I really couldn't pick an album from, just because it spans more of like a playlist. So that being said, my number. What did you say?
The police one I can see because of the reggae vibe that permeates a lot of their songs.
Yeah.
Reggae to me is like a summery kind of music.
Yeah.
So I'm sure each of us is probably going to have some sort of reggae album on our list. I think I'm just kind of, thinking out loud here. But yeah, I mean, Police. If I didn't put Police on my list, but it would have been Synchronicity for me too, because I remember the summer of '83. That album was just fucking supernova. Like you couldn't escape it, dude. You know, all the singles that were released and constant radio play of that album. You know, I think it as a summer album. I didn't put it on my list, but that would have been the one. I guess I probably would have if I picked the Police album. Anyway, go ahead, number 10.
So my number 10, and this is a very strange album to pick from this band, and it's a band we talk about nonstop, and I think I've even mentioned before this album when it comes to kind of like summery kind of stuff, and that is In Through the Outdoor by Led Zeppelin. I think it has such a kind of great, because it's very different from other Led Zeppelin albums. It has a great kind of summery vibe. In the Evening is a song that comes up a lot when I'm sitting around the fire pit. That comes up on the playlist a lot. Fool in the Rain, the kind of the reggae vibe in that. Even something like Hot Dog, and I know Jerry hates it, but Carousel Alhambra I think has a great kind of like summery vibe to it too. And then All of My Love for the kind of little more ballady kind of like slower kind of just
more romantic, yeah.
Exactly, the mood kind of piece. But I really just for albums that kind of give me just like a kind of like relaxing summertime vibe, surprisingly, In Through the Outdoor is easily one that comes to my mind.
Cool.
See, I didn't pick this. I didn't pick it, but House of the Holy would have been my pick for, I guess, a
Great
summer
pick
album.
as well.
That kind of sends off a summery vibe for me, although it's not on my list or anything. Hope I didn't spoil it for anybody, but anyway, it's a great pick, man. Andy, what do you got, man?
I did not rank mine 10 to 1. Instead, I'm going to do mine in chronological order.
Okay.
According to the years up until present time. So these albums that I chose were albums that were introduced to me at a certain summer with certain people, and I've carried it with me. Of course, I've carried those memories when I was introduced to certain albums with me. So I'm going to start with 1985. I was 11 years old, and in the summertime, I would go spend some time at my grandpa's. And my grandpa, he had a couple of aunts that were still maybe about only a few years older. I might have been in elementary and they were in high school. So they were a few years older than me. So they were always listening to the radio. They had posters on their bedroom walls of this band. And they were always listening to this band. So I started listening to this band. And I was introduced to them at a young age. And I wasn't too sure what albums they were listening to. A lot of it was radio or mixtape. So I went ahead and I grabbed their greatest hits. Journey's greatest hits.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
This was 85. They were on top of the world, and that's when I was introduced to them. I would go visit them. They were teenage girls, so they were in love with Steve Perry. They had pictures on the wall, and every time I went over there, Journey was on. So I'll always remember that time, that the summers I would spend there, and we would listen to Journey. So, well, they would listen to Journey. I was just there, but it stayed with me. We all know that this is a greatest hits compilation.
It is.
It's pretty much a perfect album.
It really is. It's kind of like the Eagles' greatest hits. It's a perfect album. where we all know every single song word for word, note for note. So I still don't like "Center of My Love." I still don't.
I don't like that
I
song.
love that song so much.
I don't like that one or Who's Crying Now. I don't like either of those two songs.
I hate Who's Crying
I don't know
Now.
why.
That's the one I don't like.
I love Faithfully. I love Open Arms, but I couldn't get into those other two ballads for some reason.
Who's
Yeah,
Crying
but
Now is like the
Open
one
Arms-
big Journey song I don't like.
It's like never. It's like it's never going to end. Jesus.
Fun fact: my dad was at the concert that they filmed the music video for "Sender My Love"
Oh,
Wow.
really?
That's
at
cool.
JFK Stadium in Philadelphia on the Frontiers tour. They actually filmed that whole show. You can see it on YouTube. It was like some ESPN special or something like that. Like
I
it's
think
like
I remember
called-
that, man.
like
I have-
Frontiers Live and Beyond or something like
I think
that.
I have that on bootleg DVD somewhere.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think
My
it's been- I don't think it's been officially released on.
no, it has not. It's like the one on YouTube. It's like VHS footage.
Yeah.
But yeah, my dad was at that show up in the nosebleeds, and it was
Oh, wow.
it was one of those all day concert things, and Sammy Hagar was the opening act.
Oh, okay.
The
Okay.
very opening act, which is after he claimed that
Very.
he had never opened for anybody.
Yeah.
And it was Sammy Hagar, I think Brian Adams,
Wow.
and the Tubes, and
Cool.
what a female. I can never remember which one it was, but it was like a female artist. I can't remember who it was.
Well, back then it was either way. No, not right. I was gonna say you
Might have
weren't
been
that far back in.
Or-
Joan Jett or Lita Ford, you know.
Yeah, well, you're a little far back for Lita Ford in '83.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
when she was like
That's
kind of
far
coming out
back
her
at that
soul.
time.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Pat
It might
Benatar,
have been.
maybe?
It might have been Joan Jett. I think.
Oh.
Of
Might
course.
have been.
Now she has officially opened up for everybody.
Yes.
The last few years, I mean, she's opened up for fucking everybody. man.
She just opened up for a Lance Morissette down here.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Really?
Damn, that'd be a good show.
I was gonna go to that, but you know, I had this River thing planned. I was really upset because I love her and I would really love to fucking see her one more time before she
Yeah.
retires.
Interesting.
All right, man. You go to Andy?
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, Jimmy Schwartz says anything by America. He picked Homecoming because of Ventura Highway. But very good song. Very good album.
I
really
almost
do-
picked their
America.
greatest hits album, like the greatest hits history. The one
oh,
with their,
yeah,
like
that's
the
a great
drawing.
Mhm.
I almost picked that.
It said Phil Hartman. I always thought that was the comedian Phil Hartman. That did the drawing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go for it, Al.
All right, man. My number 10, I'm going with thing that made them really popular on MTV. Summer of 83, 84. I mean, you just couldn't escape any of the videos, man. It's Eliminator.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think of this as a summer album, man. I mean, it's
Absolutely, it is.
those summers, man. I mean, just, going outside and hearing the songs on the radio and then going inside and watching MTV and seeing the videos. I mean, it was just like they went like supernova on this, on this album, man. I mean, they were popular in the 70s and everything, but just they kind of reinvented themselves, man, and for a whole new the whole MTV generation, and it worked for them, man. I mean, they had the awesome videos, the girls and
Yeah.
the cars,
The cars, yeah.
and dude, Eliminator, man. I got to go with that. That's my number 10. Just couldn't
Awesome.
escape that, man. So, I mean, you know all the hits. I mean, I tell you what, man. Like,
You got me under pressure.
yeah.
Good shit, dude.
I used to be in a
Legs.
I used to be in a band where we would do like "Give Me All Your Lovin'," or that was a cool one to do. But I love like "Thug." I like that song
Yeah.
"Thug" in here, and I got the 6, man.
Mm-hmm.
There's some good and TV dinners is cool too.
Yeah.
That wasn't like
That was a creepy video. That video creeped me out when I first saw
yeah.
that.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the girl. Like you know how they had the trilogy
Yeah.
video, with,
Yeah.
but then that one was just kind of like the oddball video. It wasn't.
It was like some creature coming out of the fucking TV
Yeah.
dinner. It was like, yeah.
It didn't fit in with the concept of the video of the other video.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
But yeah, that's my number 10. ZZ Top Eliminator. So number 9.
All right.
Jared.
Joseph mentioned the Police, and there was a time where you're able to go to your friend's house and play baseball in their backyards. I don't even know if they fucking do that anymore. I don't know. But it was a great-
Every neighborhood had the wiffle ball yard.
well, we use tennis balls, but my buddy's name was Mark Flanagan. I'm still friends with him. I talked to him a lot. You know, I was living in Cincinnati at the time, and we used to play at least 3 times a week during the summer in his backyard. A bunch of us, and he had this little yellow radio with an antenna, man. And we used to listen to the radio while his mom gave us Kool-Aid ice cubes to drink. You know, it was really cool. And you know, I remember a lot of the songs from the Police's Synchronicity album being played during that time. You know, I mean, you couldn't hear Every Breath You Take, King of Pain, Wrapped Around Your Finger. Those songs were everywhere on the radio around that time. Synchronicity, I guess Synchronicity 2 wasn't a big radio hit. It was kind of they did a video for it, but
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a huge hit.
One
But
of my favorite songs by them, though.
it
Oh,
is.
yeah,
It's
great
fucking
track.
yeah. It's like it's heavy. It's like so
Yeah.
cool. But yeah, every time I hear songs for them, I think about those days, man. And like I said, man, the days of kids playing outside are getting far and few. You know what I mean? There used to be a time where, you know, you go out, you play baseball. Your mom kicked you out of the house in the morning. You came back and eating for dinner. You know what I mean? It's like
Make sure you come
Yeah.
back when the street lights come on.
exactly, man. Or my mom would yell out my name. I would hear it, and I'd come home when dinner was
Yeah.
ready. So.
Yeah.
And you know, but yeah, that's what Synchronicity reminds me of. Those days, just playing baseball with your friends out in the backyard as a kid, not a fucking care in the world, just a great fucking time in your life, man. So that's my number 9.
Oh, hey, awesome, man. I'm glad you picked it, bro.
Yeah,
Because
it's like when Joseph said that. I'm like, oh shit, should I pick that one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
that's a great one, man.
like I said,
Yeah.
if I was going to pick an album, it would have been that one. And one of my favorite summer songs on that album, particularly with a specific memory, a couple of years ago when I was at the beach with some family friends. My dad's friend, he had his Spotify up and was putting songs on. We had a little portable speaker underneath our tent on the beach, and he put on Murder by Numbers.
Wow.
Oh, what a fun kind of summer song, this laid back summer song about some horrific shit, but really just kind of laid
Isn't
back.
that a bonus track?
Yes, yeah,
It's a bonus
Yep.
track. Yeah.
it was like a CD bonus track.
Like, I remember TNT in the Sahara. I think it was a song that ended that album.
Mhm.
I
Yes,
think.
yeah, and then
That's another
Murder,
great one too.
Murder
Yeah.
by Numbers was like the bonus track, which
I think I think that song was only on the cassette and CD. It wasn't on the vinyl.
no, it's not on the vinyl. Yeah, Yep.
Because I guess time constraints. You know, vinyl was only, you know, you can only fit so much in a vinyl. So yeah, no, that's cool, Jerry. All right, man. Number 9, Joe.
All right. So for something now completely out of left field, one of my favorite memories growing up as a kid, there is this restaurant just outside of my town that is like a throwback drive-in kind of diner. Like you drive your car up, you still press the little speaker button, they bring your food out to you and everything.
yeah.
They hook it on your car window and stuff, where you can go up and they have benches you can sit at and that kind of stuff. But every time my parents would take my sister and I to go and eat at this diner over the summer, we would always have the CD of the American Graffiti soundtrack
Ah,
in the
Right.
car. So that just immediately takes me back to summer. So just nothing but a bunch of classic 50s doo-wop songs.
Yeah.
Just absolutely brings me back to that time sitting out at the drive-in, listening to this kind of music,
I have that
eating
vinyl.
that kind of food. So many just like classic 50s tracks. And I mean, I love the album as a gatefold that has the
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
has the
I
whole.
have that one, man.
But we'd always listen to the American Graffiti soundtrack, of course, stuff like Rock Around the Clock, 16 Candles, At the Hop, Beach Boys songs, Chuck Berry, Big Bopper, all that kind of stuff. Just some really, really great like 50s music. And it definitely puts you in that summer kind of vibe of going in up to the drive-in and having some greasy diner food. So the American Graffiti soundtrack.
That's
And
definite
it-
summer vibes.
Yeah, and it really helps that the movie is about going into the summer.
Exactly.
You know, the last day of school and going into the summer and that whole night. You know, great pick.
Yeah. All right, man. Andy, go ahead, bro.
No, I forgot to do it.
Yo Young canceled his tour.
He canceled his tour. Okay.
They're going to take the whole month of July off to see
Uh-oh.
because more people have COVID.
Okay. All right, my Neil Young concert, he canceled the rest of the tour.
Did you just see him though, or no?
No, he can't. No, it was canceled because of weather,
Oh,
and then they had rescheduled it, and then they canceled it again because someone got sick, and now there's been more spread of COVID in the band, and that's why he didn't tour for a long time because he was waiting for things to clear. And so,
We're gonna take the whole month of July off and then see about retouring.
okay. So,
because my friend Brian just saw him up in New York.
yeah,
He saw him
yeah.
like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, they started the tour and then they stopped in. They restarted again, and they never gave us a rescheduled show. So
I guess he kind of can consider himself lucky seeing him
yeah,
early in the tour. So
yeah,
I hope it'll be all right, man.
yeah, me too. My next row of albums, there should be 3 from the year 1986. The first one was my first ever. I was 11 years old, and we went on a road trip with my uncles and aunts, and we took 2 different cars because we drove from Corpus Christi, Texas, all the way to Flint, Michigan. That was a long drive, and there was no AC in the car. There was a tape deck, and I was riding with my uncle and my aunt and my cousin in the back. We were following my grandpa, grandma, and a couple of other uncles, and we followed them. And the tape got stuck in the tape deck, so we couldn't take it out. So this album played over and over and over. And they were sick and tired of it, but I wasn't. It was the most glorious thing I've ever heard. And it was this one right here, Rubber Soul
Ah, okay.
by the Beatles. I was 11 years old, and I fell in love with this album because I really had no choice. There was nothing else to do. For
It was
24
quite
hours.
literally being beaten into your head.
Yeah, they just stuck in there. So 1986, this was the album for me. Rubber Soul, the Beatles.
Cool.
And it was a great trip. You know, I remember when we were driving into Detroit, and I took off my Astro cap, and I had asked my uncle to stop at a store so I could buy a Detroit Tiger hat. Well, he didn't. He called me a traitor. I was 11 years old. I wanted to buy a Tiger cap. He wouldn't. So I was stuck.
Yeah.
With Astro cap.
I want to do a little shout. I want to thank you guys, man. I was never huge Beatles fans. I liked a few of their hits, but the last 5 years I've really been fucking getting into them, and I'm realizing what a great fucking band they are. So just want to thank you guys for getting me into them. So
Oh yeah, of course,
Appreciate
no problem. But yeah, Rubber Soul, it was a fantastic time when I was introduced to my favorite band of all time. So I had to mention this because it was a summer that I'll never forget.
awesome.
All right. My number 9. Now I was gonna pick a compilation by them, but I just figured I instead of that I just went with a proper album. I listen to both of them constantly anyway, but it's Ramones' Rocket to Russia. I was gonna pick Ramones Mania, which is a great. I mean, that's like the first compilation I ever got by them, and that was such a kind of summery album by them too. But this one to me is like a very summery too. It's got Rockaway Beach on it. It's got Surfing Bird on it. Ramona, Sheena is a punk rocker. Teenage Lobotomy. I mean, it all is kind of reminds me of like hanging out in the summer, listening to Ramones with my friends, like drinking beer and
Yeah.
just cruising and shit like that, man. So, yeah, I love the Ramones, man. One of the band that really kind of got me into like punk rock. I'm not a huge punk rock guy, but there's certain albums and certain punk bands that I do like. You know, I'm not hardcore into punk, but I like to think of myself as a bit diverse. You know, excuse me. But yeah, this one, man, definitely gives off a summer vibe for me. But shout out to Ramones Mania too. If nobody has any Ramones, I mean, that's the comp to get, dude. I think on a CD, it's got like 30 songs on it. You know, because all their songs are like 2 minutes long.
Right.
Yeah,
I think it's got like 30 or 40 songs on it, honestly, like packed onto a CD. So, but this is one of my favorite studio albums by them. So, my number 9 is Rocket to Russia.
yeah. My Ramones Mania vinyl is a double album.
Okay.
double.
Yeah. Yeah, but I remember the CD though, man. Like, because you could pack like 80 minutes on a CD, and they packed the fucking CD, dude. You know, it was pretty much like 30. I think it might have been 30 or even 40 songs on it. I don't remember, man. But they were able to.
Yeah, that's like a half hour on a Ramones CD. 30
Right.
songs, like a half
Yeah.
hour.
So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's my number 9. So number 8, go ahead, Jerry.
Yeah, this is actually the same year, and I graduated. I moved into my first place, and I remember, Black Crow Shaker Moneymaker being out a lot.
Oh yeah, dude.
You remember your first place. Your first place isn't the greatest. I mean, you had lawn chairs, you had like a cable spool for a table. We eventually graduated to an actual card table, but you had the $1 million stereo system though. So
Oh, yeah.
That's the most important thing, man.
I mean, paper plates. I mean, we were taking like leftover food from Burger King home, and I mean, but it was a great
The stereo system and a refrigerator. That's all.
exactly. It was a great fucking time, though, man. It's weird you're able to invite your friends over to your place without your parents bitching at you. I mean, it was just a cool freedom feeling, and that album was pretty big at the time. I mean, we know the hits from it. We don't need to talk about it, but yeah, when I think about that album, especially that one in particular, there's a few of them, but that one in particular just brings back memories of those days. I mean, you're struggling like hell, but I don't know, you're happy that you're on your own at that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that like I said, that's what does it for me. So yeah, that's my number 8.
Awesome. Great pick, man.
Yeah.
All right, number 8, Joe.
All right. So my number 8, there's nothing that sums up mid-70s heartland rock like REO Speedwagon live. You get what you play for. What an amazing live album. Just absolutely amazing, just kind of summer kind of vibes on this stuff. Like You Do, Music Man, Only a Summer Love, kind of shout out to the summer in there. Son of a Poor Man, Riding the Storm Out, Golden Country, just so many great songs on this album, just like the culmination of that early REO Speedwagon. And it just has a great, I mean, Heartland rock in general is just really great summer vibes. So many amazing stuff like REO Speedwagon, Bob Seger, all that kind of stuff has so much really just great kind of summertime vibes to it. And so REO Speedwagon, you get what you play for live. I'm gonna go with that one.
I just found that vinyl in a thrift store for like $2.
No.
Oh
way.
wow, that's a
Yeah.
score.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
dude. I mean, the cover was pretty beat up, but the albums themselves are good, man.
That's
for
the important part.
For $2-3, man, whatever, you can't go wrong, dude.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, cool, man. Number 8, Andy.
Yeah, my number 8. So we finally get to Michigan, and I'm hanging out at my cousin's, and lo and behold, I never knew a basement. I've never been inside of a basement before. So I hung out a lot inside my cousin's basement watching MTV, and this was huge at the time. And I love this album. We're talking more about this album on Black Spinner in a couple of weeks, but the video that was big at the time, the showdown round the clock, was Yankee Rose.
Oh, yeah.
Smile
Yeah.
by David Lee Roth. Such a great album.
Great summer album, man.
And in fact, it starts off with Yankee Rose.
Yeah.
And that whole MTV vibe in '86 with Dave TV, he was all over the place. And
Yeah.
rightfully so, he should have been, because he put together it was kind of like a supergroup before the word supergroup came out, pretty
Yeah.
much. So that's my pick for another one for 1986. David Lee Roth, Edelman Smile.
Great pick,
Cool.
man.
And of course, with that kind of paint, it's got to be summer, right? I hope it's summer, because if not, he'll look out of place. But yeah, Edelman Smile by David Lee Roth.
I'll take a bottle of anything and a glazed
Yeah.
donut.
And a glazed
To
to
go.
go.
Oh, man. So, all right, my number 8. And I like Andy. I like how Andy's doing, going kind of. I almost toyed with the idea, kind of going. I was gonna go from like maybe summer of like '82 to like summer of like '92. Like what I was gonna kind of go like a year thing, but then I was like, there's too many like kind of when my adolescence and growing up, there's just too many to like pick. So, but I remember like always having this one, man, and like this is definitely summer to me. Eagles' greatest hits, the first one, because I was torn between this one and like Hotel California. Ultimately, I went with this one, this compilation, which is their hits from 71 to 75. So, I mean, it's got like Take It Easy, Witchy Woman, Lion Eyes, Desperado, One of These Nights, Tequila Sunrise.
Oh, I love
You
that.
know,
So much.
it's so many like great ones. And to me, like the country rock, it was more of the country rock era, like, before Joe Walsh kind of came in, and changed them a little bit. And I love the early stuff like that too. So, and this is actually signed by Don Felder.
Ah, cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I'm after a concert, I hung out and I met him and he signed it and stuff. So, but yeah, Eagles, man, Grace. I mean, this is like one of those albums that's pretty much everybody's collection.
Yeah. I mean, it's still the number one bestseller of all time, right?
Yeah,
Still?
I mean, like it's ridiculous, man. I mean, I have it on CD. I think I have another copy of vinyl.
Yeah, I got a bunch of them too. Actually, I think I got the 8-track to that. No, I got the 8-track to Hotel California.
But yeah, man, this is definite summer vibe. Eagles is to me, it's kind of a summer band, dude. So that's my number 8. 7, Jerry.
Yeah, that reminds me of another summer story. We went to Los Angeles in 2015, and we met my cousin and his boyfriend at the Roosevelt Hotel bar. And we were drinking and having a good time. And we started to go around the horn and talk about our favorite bands and this and that. And my cousin's boyfriend goes, well, I don't want to say this, my favorite band, because y'all will laugh, but I like the Eagles. And the whole table went, everybody likes the Eagles. What are you talking about? Oh, dude, what are you talking about?
Except the dude. The
dude.
Fucking Eagles.
They're the fucking Eagles.
But man, he loves that Credence.
Yeah.
He loves that Credence. All right, Jerry, you can go for it, man.
Yeah, go for it, Jerry.
Yeah, I mean, this is an album that first got girls to notice me. It was Bryan Adams' Reckless album.
Oh yeah,
because I was learning how to play guitar, and there was nothing that got girls off more than if you could play guitar, especially when you're a teenager, man.
Yeah.
And all I had to do was go dun 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 dun, dun with a little D, Summer '69, dun 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 to A. That's all I had to play, and girls loved it, man. And I remember just being around the neighborhood in the summertime. We're all trying to learn our instruments back then. I remember I had this drummer named Roger. We were trying to learn, grow together as musicians. We ended up had to move, but for some other fucking reason. But as you remember, people used to come down and we had to have sucked. But, they came down and watched us play, and girls gave you a certain smile when you had a guitar in your hand. They really, they did. So, that album, especially,
I can attest to that, man.
Yeah, they look at you with those eyes, man. It's just they really do. I mean, it's an incredible feeling.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that album was pretty big at that time, and I learned a couple of them. One Night Love Affair, shit like that. I mean, easy stuff to play. And so I owe Bryan Adams that, man. That's one.
Reckless. Reckless, man. Great album, man.
Oh, fucking just brilliant. So that's my number. Was that 8 or 7? I can't
That's
remember.
7.
8. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Awesome pick, man.
I never learned the guitar, but I ran my mouth a lot when I was in high school.
I'm sure you're a great air guitarist.
Listen, man. I remember playing backyard parties, dude. And dude, you know what? You went on dates after that.
Yep, you did, man. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, well, the girls didn't want to hear jokes.
Especially if you're a guitar player. That's especially if you're a guitar player.
If you're a guitar player or the singer, man, and I played guitar, bro. I might have not played the greatest, but I still pulled it off.
Oh, me too, man. I mean, yep. I'm telling you, and they're not making it up. They give you those eyes, man. It's
they get mesmerized by you, man.
At least back then they did. So
now they couldn't care fucking less. Unless you're a DJ or something spinning records.
Right, exactly. But yeah, man, what a fucking fantastic time from my life, man.
I know. All right, man. Number 7, Joe.
Be right back.
All right, so this is a band that's very special to me, growing up, and I'm glad that recently I know I've been getting Jerry into them a little bit. And this is an album that my dad introduced to me as I was growing up, and really has another live album that has some really great kind of summer vibes to me, and that is Nazareth, Snaz,
Wow.
recorded on their 1981 tour. Has some really kind of great summer vibes. This is when they kind of fleshed out their lineup a little bit. They were known throughout the 70s as a really solid, just straight up 4-piece. And then by the early 80s, they added a second guitar player and a keyboard player into their lineup. And so it's a little bit of a fuller sound. And there's some really good stuff on here. Just some of their classic songs. They throw a couple covers in. They do kind of a reggae version of Cocaine. They do an old Rick Danko song called Java Blues. It's really good. Kind of has kind of that summer kind of feel to it. And then there's just some of their other stuff that just has a really, really great kind of summer vibe to it. And this is an album that just is really, really kind of important to me growing up. This is an album that my dad really got me into, and just Nazareth as a whole have a really kind of cool family history with them. And so this is an album that I go back to a lot over the summer, riding around in the car with the windows down, listening to Nazareth, Snaz, the live album from 1981, when they were selling out headlining shows for pretty much the only time in their career. So great live album. If anyone doesn't know this live album,
I don't have that one, man, but I gotta check it out, man.
Yeah, I mean, it has a bunch of their classic stuff on here. I mean, them doing all their kind of big hits, This Flight Tonight, Expect No Mercy. They always do an amazing version of Shapes of Things.
That's one band I wish I would have seen live, man. You know, I never got to see them.
Like I said, knowing my family history with this band, I wish I would have been able to see them live. And it's kind of unfortunate where they are today, that it's just Pete Agnew left in the band, and
Dan McCaffrey passed last year or
2 years ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe that's another band I can't believe I never really got into until Joseph got me into them. Like,
and then you realize how good they fucking are, dude.
And you've heard these songs your whole life, but you just didn't put two and two together and realize it's Nazareth. So,
and another band that can be real heavy too, man.
Yeah.
My God, yes.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
And Dan McCaffrey had that gravelly voice, man. It was just so great. He could have fit into the AC/DC, really. It would be kind of, you know.
Well, he kind of influenced where Brian Johnson. You listen to Brian Johnson in Geordie, and it doesn't sound anything like Brian Johnson and AC/DC, and you kind of think, okay, who was kind of big at that time coming out of the UK scene? And it was Nazareth.
Yeah.
And Brian Johnson and Axl Rose both really kind of got their voice from Dan McCaffrey.
Yeah. Awesome, man. All right, Andy, man, what do you got, brother?
Another album from 1986. When it got too dark outside to play any kind of baseball or anything like that, because in my neighborhood, I'm pretty sure y'all were the same too. You played the sports that was going on at that time. You played football when it was cold. You played baseball in the summertime, and you played basketball before that. But so at night we would hang out at someone's porch. We would take turns of whose porch it would be, and whoever house you were at, they'll bring out the boom box and cassettes. And I was introduced to this album in 1986, and I heard it again recently, and I sure did like it a lot more now than I did back in the day. And that's going to be Poison's Look What the Cat Dragged In.
That definitely was a summer album, man.
Good. Here's the back of it. You don't want to see that. But, yeah, I remember my friend Randy. He was a big Poison fan, man. I'll tell you what, back then in the late 80s, everybody was. And but I was introduced to Look What the Cat Dragged In.
You know what? I know I give Poison a shitload of that album, especially, but man, I would do anything to relive a couple days back on that era, dude. It was just so much fucking fun back then.
It was, dude.
It really was.
This album, if y'all haven't heard this album in a while, go ahead and do yourself a favor and hear it. It's a really good, strong album. I enjoyed it.
That album cover is still arousing.
I know. I mean, the summer. I mean, yeah. The cover.
Hey, they took that glam image to extreme, and they worked for them, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Really.
I remember walking into it was like probably like A&P or like a food store, and back then, man, they used to have a little vinyl.
Excuse me.
I remember like grocery stores had vinyl.
Yeah.
You know, Pathmark, you know, something like that. And I remember in 1986 or summer of '87, walking in there and there's look at the contract, and I was like, "Holy shit, man! Who are these chicks?" You know?
Yep, I did too.
And oh wow, man! But I mean, they got big, man. They made it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, they did.
I always make the joke that I'm allowed to hate on them because they're local.
Yeah, for PA, right?
Yeah, 3 of the 4 of them are from freaking bumfuck PA somewhere.
Yeah.
I still know like most of their relatives. Like Brett Michaels' mom used to be neighbors with my aunt, so it's like I'm allowed to hate on them.
CC wasn't the one from PA because he came
No,
later.
he was from LA.
Yeah.
He was from LA, but no, yeah. Brett and Bobby and Ricky are all from like Mechanicsburg, PA.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
that's funny.
They're all very local. So they're like the opposite of Kix for me. Kix is like my local band that I love. Poison is my local band that I'm like, you're garbage.
No thanks.
And hey, I just saw Brett Michaels live last month, and he still does a good job. So whatever.
He really does do a good job, and in fact, it's amazing that they're still together and they still tour.
Well, they're on and off, man. You know,
Yeah.
They barely tour. Brett Michaels does more solo stuff now than Poison does.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, his backing band is actually pretty good. It's all like local musicians and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Hey, listen, I met him last year, and the dude was a sweetheart, man. The guy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I hear he's a really cool dude.
One of the
I've
nicest.
heard nothing but good things. Yeah.
Dude, I mean, like when I went to go meet him, I mean, he actually like he went in, he gave me a hug and everything. I'm like, you know, I was like, holy shit, you know, like genuinely, man, he was like really like engaged, and he talked to you, and he was genuine, man. He was really cool dude, you know. So, and he never pretended to be anything like that, you know. Poison was a party band, dude. That's what they were, man. You know, it's to me like the chicks were really into them, and
they're an easy band for people to shit on, dude. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like them too.
They're just so easy. They're an easy target, you know, to be.
There's some good songs on that debut, though.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I think he's gone a little bit too far down the wearing a cowboy hat route for me.
Yeah,
he's gotten a little too kind of like I'm a country singer now. But, but other than that, no, he's one that still at least embraces where he came from. He's still on his solo stuff. It's mostly Poison stuff that he plays. So
yeah, he does.
He's still like when I just saw him live last month, he pulled out the title track to that album because one of the first places they ever played that song was at Hammerjacks in Baltimore when they were an opening band before they even moved out to LA, before CC was in the band. So like that was one of the first places they ever played that song, and now to come back to near Baltimore and playing M3, and he played that song especially for that crowd, which is really cool that he acknowledged that and was like, basically viewed it as a homecoming pretty much.
Yeah. All right, man. So what are we on? Number 7, right?
Yep.
Let's bring it back down to a musician level. No, I know Joe mentioned before, like with Rush, he kind of is, you know, it kind of spreads through the discography. But to me, Permanent Waves is a summer album for me. If I'm gonna pick one album with a summery vibe, and for me, Rush is year round. I mean, so I can hear him in a barbecue, I can hear him in a dead of winter, whatever. But this album, they got a little less dark, a little more upbeat. You know, I mean, Spirit of Radio, that's so infectious right off the bat. And then I remember like one of the summers when I was a kid and going to like one of my friend's house, and then we walked into the backyard and he had a pool and his older brother was there, had the radio on. I remember walking into the backyard and Free Will was playing on the radio. So Free Will was another FM radio hit. You know, you heard that on the radio, Spirit of Radio. And then Jacob's Ladder, which is kind of about like kind of storms and stuff like that. And you get a lot of storms in the summer. So it's kind of that. And then Entre Nous, one of my favorite tracks by him, always kind of reminds me, it has a summer kind of vibe to it. And then the ending off with Natural Science, the album actually ends off with you hear like crashing waves, you know, like on a beach. Like it would be kind of like during a storm, but you still kind of have like you picture in your head like the waves crashing in on the shore. So I don't know. That's for me, this album reminds me of summer. If I'm going to pick one Rush album, it'd be this one. Signals is a close second. Signals is another album that kind of has a bit of a summery vibe to me. But ultimately, I went with this one. So that's my number 7.
Awesome.
For me, go
and,
ahead, Andy.
and a couple of runs throughs for Jimmy. So he's got Chicago 2, and he's got Stray Cats Built for Speed.
That's another good one. Stray Cats Built. They were huge in like 83.
82,
I remember
83,
that.
Yeah.
Rockabilly stuff. They brought Rockabilly back, man. You know,
Yeah.
it was like the 50s all over again.
And Jimi Hendrix Experience Access Bold as Love. Sorry.
Some good picks, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
I was
6,
thinking about putting one of the first 2 Chicago albums on my list.
Yeah.
But if I was gonna put one Rush album on my list, it was gonna be Moving Pictures. That was gonna be mine.
To me, I don't know, man. To me, that has. Oh well, Red Barchetta has.
Red Barchetta. Just for me, that's more of a personal because that's the album my dad had on cassette when I was younger, and that's the one we would play at like barbecues and stuff. So like that's the one that kind of really reminds me of summer.
Yeah, Tom Sawyer too. I mean, I remember just in the summers that blasting out of cars and shit like that. So yeah, no, I get it. But to me, that's a little bit of a darker album for me. It's a little more. If Permanent Waves was daytime, to me that's like nighttime. That album, you know, I don't know. That's with Witch Hunt and things like that. But I mean, Vital Signs is an upbeat kind of.
Vital Signs is kind of reggae.
Yeah.
YYZ is like a classic. Whenever my dad and his friend get together, they always put YYZ on and do like the air drums and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, that's cool. Well, number what do we got? 6, Jerry.
Yeah. It's a album actually that we're going to be talking about tomorrow on the BS sessions. Boston's debut album. You remember the 5-pack of blank tapes you used to be able to buy for like $2, like C3 ones? Remember those? I just remember going to my sister's house and just recording all of her albums. And I just remember we used to go to Fort Myers Beach every year during the summer, and I just remember bringing that one with me and had my little fucking ghetto blaster, man. It really wasn't even a fucking ghetto blaster. It was like I don't know, radio with a fucking cassette player. I don't know, but I just remember sitting on the beach, you know, acting cool, listening to that album. Look at the girls go by. They had no interest in me. I was like a 12-year-old kid, but still, fuck it.
Great album.
It just reminds me of, you know, that time. I remember mom giving me 4 quarters to go to the arcade there and play fucking video games. And 4 quarters used to last a long time back then in an arcade. Yeah. But, and, you know, it's great times, you know, with my family on vacation with that album. So I had to put that one on there. Boston's debut.
Classic. And I can't wait to talk about it tomorrow. We're gonna rank the tracks on it, right?
Yeah.
So, which I still have yet to do, but I can do it.
That's like a 5-minute job. It really it's actually hard. I mean, I think we're all going to agree on the number 8 song, but the rest of them are kind of difficult.
So. Really? I'm interested to see.
Okay.
Very hard time.
All right, Joe, number 6.
All right. Well, what says summer more than Freebird?
Or Southern rock in general.
But this first album especially, just pronounced Leonard Skinner. What an amazing kind of summer album. Starting out with I Ain't the One, Tuesday's Gone, Give Me 3 Steps,
right, man.
Simple Man, Poison Whiskey, and then ending out with Freebird, and just putting meat on the grill and just jamming out to
barbecue
like
staple, man. Barbecue staple.
Yep. I mean, what Southern rock in general, but this album especially is just a front to back absolute classic of the genre and perfect summertime album. Sitting drinking a beer, smelling some stuff on the grill. Just a great album for that kind of vibe.
You know, now that you mention that album, I should have put fucking Freedom Rock on my list.
Oh man, that would rock.
So good.
I was going through YouTube the other day, and that commercial.
Dude, that commercial's the best, man.
We'll turn it up, man.
You know what's funny, man? Because me and my friend Donato from up in Staten Island, we hung out all. I mean, he's one of my best friends, so going to concerts and just generally hanging out. But we were going to see. I can't remember. Dude, now I can't remember. I go to so many concerts, But we were going to a concert, and for some reason that commercial came up, and I pulled it up on YouTube, and we were just laughing at it. And then at the end, they give you like the number to call. He's like, I'm gonna fucking call that number. He called that number, right? It was some sort of like pharmaceutical supply company or something like that, right? But my friend was like, I want to order the Freedom Rock album. Like he kept and they were like, no, we're like we're a supply company for farmers, for hospitals, things like that. He's like, yeah, but so should I go with the double album or the CD? He just kept going and going, and the people when they answer phones, they can't really break script. They're really not supposed to,
Right.
And finally, the guy had enough. And I think the guy was like, "Listen, we don't sell out. There's not album. We're not selling the Freedom Rock album." Because my friend just kept going and going.
Yeah,
awesome. I wish I would have recorded that, taped it, him doing that.
Yeah.
It would have been it would have probably went viral and been funny as hell. But it was so funny. He was like, I gotta call that number.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Man, I wish I still had that compilation because I bought it, then I sold it, and I've never seen it again on vinyl.
Yeah, I've been looking out. I've been looking out in a while to see if I find it. I want to buy it, but I'm sure I could go on Discogs and buy it. But
it's definitely on there. I'm sure.
Probably expensive though. It's probably expensive.
But that's not fun.
Yeah, I like finding it out in the record store.
Yeah.
Anyway,
turn it up, man. I love that commercial. That was awesome.
All right, so Joe, that was your number 6, Leonard Skinner. Pronounced Leonard Skinner, right?
Correct.
Awesome, man. Awesome album. Andy, my friend.
Yeah.
What's your next one?
Get the Southern train going on this one. In 1992, my family and I drove up to Houston to go visit my uncle because he lived here, and we would come and visit him and stuff like that. And on the way out, going back to Corpus, it was a Sunday afternoon, and and my parents stopped at this big supermarket grocery store that had everything. I forgot the name of it, but I know exactly where the building is because sometimes I pass by it when I'm going back home to see my mom. And I had my Discman with me, and I bought a CD that day, and I love it. I still do. And that album was Black Crowes, the Southern.
Oh, I'm going to the next one. Yeah.
And Musical Companion. Man, I know that this has.
That's my favorite by them.
Oh yeah, me too. But I know that this has no summer vibe to it. I know that. This is
a little more
a late night winter album. But I was introduced to this during that summer, and I just fell in love with it. And this is what made me fall in love with the Black Crowes. I was familiar with their first album. They had a couple of hits off of there. She Talks to Angels.
Yeah.
And then that's why I had bought this. I was like, well, I know who the Black Crowes are. Man, I was not ready for this type of album. And man, I was rewarded with one of the best. So this is from 1992, the summer of 1992.
All right, man. So this next album came out in 86. I'm sorry, 86. But it was late, kind of came out in late 86. So really, wasn't the summer basic, but the next summer, after graduating, not graduating, but after getting out of school, you couldn't escape going to a backyard party, any type of party, man, in the summertime, and not hearing this. Beastie Boys, License to Ill. To me, this is summer, man. going to like summer parties and just getting drunk over your ass and every party. I mean, this would get played at like when you put this on, the party would fucking go nuts, man. There's, it was just good times, man. Like partying and and summertime and just getting crazy, man. And I miss those days, those carefree days, man. Just I mean, these kids nowadays, man, they just don't realize, man. Like sitting behind a computer all day or your phone, dude. It's just, I don't know, man.
It's like I mentioned the Kagers earlier. It's like
listen, I sound like an old fucking dude or whatever, and I know the world evolves and revolves, and things move on, and the new generations adapt and all that stuff. But I don't know, man. Just something about like getting out there and going to a party and riding your bike to the party, and hitting the pool, having a beer, and when you're underage, what I mean? It's just. And just kind of like hiding. But I mean, it's just so fun, man. And this is definitely a soundtrack to a summertime party. So that's my number 6, man. Could have been much higher, but to me, I'm ranking these as kind of just moot anyway. But that's my number 6. Anyway, number 5, Jerry.
Back then, I didn't drink beer until I was 21. So
I drank it at 14, 15.
Actually, it's probably lower. It was probably like 11 or 12 for me.
But,
unfortunately, I had some very corruptive sisters. So
we were too young to buy beer, so we had a lot of weed at that time. We were
you compensated. You compensated with something.
Yeah, we really did. It was a great time.
All right, number 5, Jerry.
Yeah. Again, this is an album that brings me back to my later high school years. Again, I was dating this girl named Dina. I think, Andy, you might know her. You're friends with her on Facebook somehow. I saw your name on her list. Yeah. I don't know. And my friend Joe and a couple others used to sit in her backyard and talk about music that came out. Everybody was fucking talking about this album, Appetite for Destruction. All right? And I heard Welcome to the Jungle, and I hated that fucking song when I heard it, man. I did not like it. I did not like them until, was it Sweet Child of Mine was her second single, I mean?
Yeah, because I mean, although Welcome to the Jungle, when it came out, it wasn't a fucking smash right out the bat. I remember that album was a bit of a slow burn. I think it wasn't until like Sweet Child or like Paradise City, and after when Paradise City came out, I mean they were full on.
That was huge.
One of the biggest bands.
Full on heroin.
Yeah. I mean, I like it better now, but it's still not my favorite song by him. But, in the summer, I just remember being in her backyard just talking about music. And I remember we talked about this one for a long time. I just, especially Welcome to the Jungle, I'm like, I just don't get it. I don't know. It was different sounding, I guess, from what was going on there. Maybe that's why it didn't compute quite yet. I kind of had that issue when grunge came around and took away that type of music. I was like, oh, no. That's the music I played in my band, glam music and shit like that. But I eventually started liking that album, and it ended up being one of the best albums ever made, of course. And when I hear especially Welcome to the Jungle, I think about the time. My friend Joe's not with us anymore; he killed himself, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that sucks.
But it's that song brings back a lot of good and bad memories, and that whole album does. So, and that was during the summer. We used to sit out and talk music just about every night, man. Again, times where you have no fucking worries, man. Yeah. It was an amazing time, dude. Yeah. But anyway, that's my pick.
And in fact, I streamed that album this morning at work. Started at 9 in the morning, clicked it on, and start off.
Awesome, Joe, number 5.
All right, so this album is really puts me in the mood for driving around with my windows down in my car, just blasting this. And we did that a lot with my dad. My dad used to have this CD in his car all the time. And this particular little bit has nothing to do with the album itself, but I've never understood the promotion of this particular album. I mean, band had their debut album a year or two earlier, had a decently big hit off of it, was a pretty decently selling album. And then they come back with their first single off this album. And the music video, when MTV was huge, their music video starts out at a kid's birthday party. And the clown comes over.
Yep.
What do you wish for, Jimmy? No, it was actually they called the kid Steven. They called the kid
Yeah.
Steven. What do you wish for, Steven? Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Rat, Invasion of Your Privacy.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What a stupid intro to a music video for your lead single when MTV was huge. And they come out from Round and Round, which is a bit of a weird video itself.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And that's the way you start your lead singles music video. And I mean, especially with like a killer riff like that, you don't start out with the riff. You start out with the stupid
Well,
kid's birthday party.
I don't think there are too many big budget videos in that time. Well,
No, but I mean,
I guess Hungry Like the
Well,
Wolf was
mid-eighties-
kind of a big
Yeah, by
budget
mid
one.
'80s, man. You know.
Yeah,
I'm
I
saying,
guess
you know,
so.
you didn't even need like the stupid little intro for your video. All you can just somebody not watching, and all of a sudden you just hear that riff, and like heads are gonna turn, and you have this little kid's birthday party starting out your music video. Anyway, completely separate, but this album
I
is
love
just
that album,
such
man.
a fucking great summer vibe for me. Just like driving around with your windows down, blaring these songs. You're in Love, Lay It Down, Never Use Love, Between the Eyes, one of my favorite songs on this album. And then stuff like Got Me on the Line, Dangerous but Worth the Risk, You Should Know
That's
by
a great
Now.
one, man.
Like just so many great tracks, just
Closer to
pure
my
kind
heart.
of closer to my heart, great track.
Yeah.
Just so like great kind of summer vibes on this album. My dad and his friend and I still listen to this album all the time. It's just such a great kind of summer vibe album, which is funny because the album cover would not lead you to believe that in any way, shape, or form, but really kind of great, kind of like party-ish vibe to it, like early hair metal. So there's really great stuff on this album.
Yeah,
I
One
just
of
saw
my
a
favorite
clip.
albums to listen to.
Yeah, I just saw a clip on YouTube of the David Letterman show with that girl because she was a Playboy.
I think so.
Yeah, so it was an early like Letterman show, and she was on there. Man, she was beautiful, and she was in that video too. She was in that video. So for
Well,
for me-
yeah. Was she in the Lay It Down video? Was she the one in the Lay It
yeah,
Down
she's
video?
the
I
one
think?
that Steven. With
Yeah.
Steven, yeah, that's her. She's on the album
Yep.
cover too. That's her on the album cover. So
Yeah.
great album, man.
I know. I'm really excited. A couple months ago, I got to see Stephen Pearcy do the entire Out of the Cellar album live, and at the end, he played "You're in Love and Lay It Down," and he kind of teased. He said, "Well, this anniversary is coming up soon, so I wonder what we might have to do for that one." So I'm really hoping that next year or the year after,
Yeah, that'd be cool, man. If he does
he
that.
pulls out, he does this whole album because I'd love
Yeah.
to see him do this album.
Yeah, because I do like that one a little bit better than Out of the Cellar. I do like.
I have more of a personal attachment to that album. I think Out of the Cellar overall is a little bit better of an album, but I have more of a personal attachment to Invasion of Your Privacy.
Gotcha. All right, Andy, man, what's your next one? Great album, man. Love that album.
Okay, Al, I know that this is your episode and your topic, so I hope I can talk about two albums for 1996.
Go ahead.
1996. I went to my very
Well,
first.
you must be reading my fucking mind, bro. But you'll hear about that and with me right after you. So go ahead, go with your two albums.
I went to my very first festival in 1996. Me and my buddy Dave Martinez, who's been on this Black Spinner show before, but I think he's done 2 episodes on here. But he and we packed up our car. Well, I had a blue Chevy Cavalier 4-door, if you can believe that. Those weren't around that often. But we drove from Corpus to Austin for a festival called Horde Festival.
Yeah.
HORDE.
Oh yeah, my wife went to one of those.
Yeah, and I was introduced to these bands during there, and I fell in love with the albums. I'll start off with this one because he opened up the show, and this is his debut album, "Let Love Rule" by Lenny Kravitz. Really good album, and our good buddy Mark Alden Taylor just mentioned his new album that was just released. So good, highly recommend it. It is so good, and this is the band. I don't know if they closed it or they were second to the last. Oh man, I could have brought out that other album too. But Dave Matthews Band, "Under the Table and Dreaming," this is such a good album, and I haven't heard it in years, so I'll probably hear it sometime this week. But these two, because they played on that show, and
So Lenny Kravitz is on the Board Festival. Wow.
yeah, and the closer was Blues Travelers.
Yeah.
They were doing the album 4, so I could have pulled that out.
Yeah,
too,
that was
think
their
about
big
it.
one.
But man, this was such a great time when I went to my first festival. Also Rusty Root was there. I got that album too. Natalie Merchant, remember she was from 10,000 Maniacs. But this is when she went solo. So
I fucking love Natalie Merchant. He came out with an album a few years ago that was pretty good too, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, she's still a great voice. Yeah.
So these two were very important to me in 1997 because of my very first festival. I dove head first into these things, and I tried to live a little bit more like the Dave Matthews kind of vibe until my girlfriend at the time told me I had to take a bath very soon. So that vibe went away real quick. So that's my pick for this time. All right, Al, go for it.
It's funny that you were just like talking. I'm going to talk about 2 albums. I swear to you, man. This next one, I'm going to talk about 2 albums right here. I'm just going to break my own rule a little bit, but it's a tie for me.
Yeah.
Let me give you the story. So summer of 1986, the Jersey Shore. I used to go down there all the time, but summer of '86 was like kind of like I went down there with my big brother. He was driving already and stuff, and we used to go down there and we used to play, like, they used to have games on the boardwalk where you could spin the wheel and you can win an album or a cassette or something like that. And my brother used to win a lot of that stuff all the time. So when I was down there with him, he spun the wheel. He won. He could have picked 1 vinyl or 2 cassettes. So he ended up going with 2 cassettes so he can get 2 different albums. And plus he had a cassette deck in the car so we can listen to it on the way back. Well, he said for me to pick one and for him to pick one. So, and they were playing and the Jersey Shore, the boardwalk around the games and all the rides and stuff. They used to have like PA blaring fucking rock music, dude. It was awesome, man. They were blaring out music and these 2 albums were hot, man. I mean, they were just big that summer of '86. So it's one that Andy picked already. It's this one, and the other one is this one. It's 5150. So I know people are gonna be like, "Oh, you fucking, what are you doing picking up fucking Sammy Era Van Halen?" I don't care, dude. It's still, to me, this reminds me of summer '86.
Yeah,
it's still a great album, but this is equally as great. I never chose one over the other, really. I do like the Dave Era Van Halen better. I don't know. Between these albums now, I tend to go more this one. I think this just has aged better for me. But I mean, at the time, man, this was huge. And this is the first time I saw Van Halen in a concert, was that summer in August. August 1st of 1986. I remember they played 4 nights at the Meadowlands Arena, and it was one of the nights. And my brother took me to it because he fucked up and didn't take me to the 1984 tour. So I'm like, you better just fucking take me and shit. So he took me. But I didn't get to see Dave on this tour, and I wish I did, because I would have loved that too, man. But anyway, I'm picking these 2 albums because the summer of '86 is just the both of them were huge. They were big albums, and I spun them both a lot, and I love both of them. So I'm going 5150 and Eat 'Em and Smile. So that's my number 5. So there you have it.
And just to add to that, in a few weeks we're gonna have a vinyl battle.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, man, go ahead.
On track.
Yeah, Andy's gonna do a vinyl battle between those 2 albums. I'm sure a lot of people are gonna go one-sided on it, but anyway, whatever. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be fun. Track by track, it could be a different story.
Yeah, it's true. So yeah, that's my number 5. Number 4, Jerry.
Okay, I am no means a badass whatsoever. But this album,
You're
listening to it,
bro.
that's true. This album, actually, for a little while, I thought that I was, because when I listened to this album, I got into my first 2 fights in my life. And I guess I might have had a pretty good punch because I did some damage. But after that, I kind of lost a lot more than I won. I mean, I'm not a badass whatsoever. But Out of the Cellar by Rat was big at that time. And just the music, I was like, lack of communication back from war, fucking Wanted Man, just they resonated with me in that summertime period. We used to have a houseboat in Cincinnati, and I had met a lot of people in the neighborhood around there. We used to hang around there. We wouldn't terrorize it, but I don't know. Back then, you fought for no reason whatsoever, just because I just want to beat his ass just because he's there. You know what I mean? That's the way it was. That's the way it was sometimes back there growing up. It's really stupid when you think about it. Maybe it was just in my neighborhood. I don't know, but yeah, that's when I found out that I had a really good punch. I remember listening to this album a lot, and I used to kind of prance around to these songs, when they came on the radio, because that's what it reminds me of. But boy, was I sorely mistaken, because I'm a fucking wuss. I got my ass whooped so many times after that. But so this, I guess it's not really a positive thing, but it definitely reminds me of a summertime, hanging around, those type of people. So yeah, that's my next one.
Oh, well, maybe y'all got into a lot of fights because there was a lot of lack of communication.
It could be. I became a wanted man. I guess. I don't know.
Maybe you were just insane. Maybe you were just insane, Jerry.
I kept coming back for more, man. Fuck.
You went round and round with them.
The puns.
You know what? It's just whether they're stupid or not, they're great fucking times, dude.
Man.
I remember fighting all the time.
At least you didn't get caught at the scene of the crime. So.
I remember my mom fucking. You're in trouble. You're in trouble, young man.
Yeah. Yeah, but you found out later she just wanted money. So.
Well, she's like, well, take me back to the scene of the crime, and we'll. Oh God, we're getting way off fucking topic.
I think we punned every song on the album. So.
I think pretty close to it. It.
Awesome.
And then your mom threw you in the basement, and you were like, you tried to get out of the cellar. Anyway.
Well, she wants money, so I guess that didn't work very well.
I already did that one.
Doesn't fit. Oh, you did? I didn't hear that one. I'm sorry, my bad.
Yeah. All right, no, awesome pick, man. I mean, that's definitely a summerish album for me too.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah,
I mean, both of them are. I mean, that's about every fucking Rat album summerish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But really, they do have a summer vibe to them. So,
yeah, definitely.
I remember fighting a lot. It was, just. Shit just happened, and you became friends with those people anyway down the road. You
if you fought, you got respect. You know what I mean? It was weird. It was stupid, macho, dumb shit, but still, that's the way it was back then.
Yeah, but you got beat. If you got beat up, you toughened up a bit too. And
Oh, I talk about the word fucking glass jaw. That should have been my fucking nickname back then. It really should.
Yeah.
A girl could have knocked me out back then. I had such a fucking. I mean, I was not a fighter. I found that out quick in life.
All right, moving right along. Number 4, Joe.
All right, so this one doesn't really have any kind of like specific summer memories for me, but
hey, Metal Ben, what's up, brother?
Hey, how's it going, Metal Ben?
Hey,
Ben, man, what's up, dude?
So good to hear from you.
Love that guy.
Yeah, so this album doesn't really have any like specific summer memories for me, but just has overall just a great summer vibe, and that is Def Leppard Pyromania.
Ah, yeah, dude. Yeah.
I mean, just right from the jump
Most
with Rock Till You Drop, all the singles, Stage Fright, Too Late for Love, Die
Billy's
Hard the
Got a
Hunter,
Gun.
Billy's Got a Gun, Coming Under Fire. There's so many kind of great, like, just summer kind of songs on this album. And this is just another kind of great one when you're out barbecuing, just to throw on Pyromania. And it's just a great kind of hang around drinking beer with your friends kind of album. Really kind of great summer vibes to it. And it was another kind of huge album in that kind of summer period. Yeah.
That album was around that age. I'm talking about a lot of mine. That album was definitely one of them that was big in that time period. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man, definitely. Great pick, man. That was on the long list, definitely. Hey, we gotta get Metal Ben back on the show. We had him on a long time ago, but
yeah, he's a cool dude. He was on our show a few times too. Cool dude, man.
Yeah, but he was working on Wednesday nights. The last time I spoke to him about being on, because I wanted him to talk about his latest musical, his latest music stuff that he was putting out there on YouTube page. But he was working on Wednesdays.
If you're ever free Wednesday night, Ben, man, we'd like to have you on.
Yes, please. He was so great.
Yeah.
So for my next pick, I want to fast forward to 2003. I met my wife Molly in July 13th, 2003 is when I met her. And when I went to go spend some time at her home for the first time was in August. And I was looking through her CDs, going, "Oh, this is okay." I said, "Ooh, can I borrow this?" She's like, "Yeah, sure." But today she said that I didn't ask to borrow it. She said I just took it. But now it's community property anyway. And I'm talking about the Strokes. This is it.
The Strokes.
Yeah, the Strokes.
Okay.
This is it. This came out in 2001. I borrowed it in 2003. And she was living in Louisiana, so it was a good 2.5 hour drive. But man, I would listen to this album going back and forth from Lake Charles to Houston, Lake Charles to Houston, and I never returned it. So either way, now it's community property. And yeah, this was such a good album, and this really got me into that whole New York 2000 scene that we've talked about a couple of times. Unfortunately, it didn't last too long. It only lasted a few years, but yeah, the Strokes. This is it.
So you married her just for the Strokes CD?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, I didn't have to give it back. But,
All right, man. So my number 4. So when me and my friends started driving, my friend Keith had a van, which was awesome, dude. We used to all fucking pile in a van and go parties and concerts and shit like that. And he had the cassette deck in there. One cassette that he would play, because this is in the summer, we were, going to whatever in the van, fucking generally having a good time and everything. One cassette that he played was this compilation by Foreigner Records. And I mean, every song in here is a hit, dude. I mean, it's Foreigner Records. It's a compilation. It's their greatest hits. I think this was like the first compilation I ever put out, and he had it on cassette. And I mean, Cold as Ice, Double Vision, Had Games, Waiting for a Girl Like You, Feels Like the First Time, Urgent, Dirty White Boy, Jukebox Hero, Long, Long Way from Home, which is a personal favorite, and the live version of Hot Blooded, man, was great. The last track was a live version of Hot Blood, which is like even better than the studio version, in my opinion. And I associated this with summer, driving around in my friend Keith's van. And this is like summer of '89. I know this album is a little older, but it was the compilation that he had in his car. So I always associate with that summer when we first got our licenses and shit. It was great, man. Great times. That's my number 4, Foreigner Records. Number 3, Jerry.
All right, this is kind of cheating. I lived in Florida at the time, so it was like summer all the time down there.
Yeah, it's summer there.
I actually went to saw this concert in March. Essentially, it's not summer, but like we said, Pink Floyd's Pulse live album.
I saw that in the summer too.
It was the very first show of the tour in Miami, which was fucking awesome. I remember going with my friends in my band. Our band was doing good. We were playing some shows. I asked my manager, Corey, it was her name, to go with me to that show, and we went together. And it was kind of, we never really went out, but we did have fun afterwards. That's what that reminds me of. And just like I said, the band that we were in, we were doing the best. Probably, I mean, we really didn't do much, but for us, that was good back then.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of that time, and just to be able to see Pink Floyd live. I mean, again, it's not Pink Floyd without Roger, but I don't care.
It's still a great show, man.
It's still my favorite show of all time, and it's one of the shows that I remember the most. It doesn't deteriorate. Some shit deteriorates from your mind eventually, but I remember that a lot of that vividly, man, because it was one of my favorite bands, and I fucking love the CD, man, with the little red glowing light. My light finally died. I mean, like a year ago, it's finally
replaced the
died.
batteries, man.
Yeah. I don't know how, actually. They said there's some way to do it. I don't know. Go ahead.
When you take the CD book out of there, you put your hand into the box part, right? And press against the back of it, and it'll slide out. This little panel will slide out. And then in the back of it, there's like where the batteries go.
Is it like a watch battery or something? Or
no, it's like AA.
It lasted that fucking long? Jeez, man, that's impressive for
Yeah,
a battery.
Yeah. I've replaced
But,
mine a couple times already.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, when you take the thing that houses the CDs, take that out, and then you have the box part where the light is on the spine of it. Reach into the box, and I think it's you got to press your hand against the back, and you kind of slide a panel out, and just then slide it out, and then there's like a compartment for like the battery.
Oh,
Like
wow.
the light thing will come out too. You know, don't worry about it. You're not gonna break. You're not gonna. break.
I'm as technologically, advanced as the Amish,
Yeah.
so I really don't know shit.
But yeah,
so,
you can do it though, man. You can replace the battery.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Amish.
But yeah, I mean,
I love that pulsating thing though. It's like,
Yeah.
it was
I
always
do.
like,
I mean,
when people would come over, man, it was always like a talking point, like a conversation piece. So, what is
yeah,
that?
I'd love
man?
that.
What the
I
hell
would
is
love to
that?
get that on vinyl. I'd love to get that on vinyl, but it's too expensive at the moment. But
Yeah,
it was just another great time of my life. Like I said, it's March. It's not technically summer, but like I said, South Florida, fucking swamp ass every
Well, when
fucking
I-
day of the year.
when that tour finally came to New Jersey, it was summertime. So yeah, I saw that in Giant Stadium in New Jersey, and it just blew my mind, bro.
It
You
was
know.
fucking incredible, dude.
The big disco ball that came out of the
Yeah.
center and opened up and shit. It was just
during
insane.
Comfortably Numb solo. Yeah, that was amazing, dude. Oh,
Yeah.
dude, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't go, but I remember it coming to town, and it was on an Easter weekend for us. Because it was in San Antonio. I was in Corpus. I was still in high school. My parents weren't going to let me go on Easter Sunday. You know?
I never predicted that would be their last real tour.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't. What Momentary Lapse was like 5 or 6 years before that.
for that. Yeah,
I mean, so I was thinking maybe another 10 years they'll come out and do it. I never thought that'd be the only time I get.
Yeah,
to
that's
see
it, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Joe.
Anyway.
Man, great.
I think Pink Floyd in general is like just a great summer band. Like a lot of their albums is like kind of great, like summer kind of like sitting outside listening to those kind of albums. Just really kind of a cool summer feel to them. But my number 3, these top 3 were the like 3 first things that came to my mind when you said summer albums. And so this is actually one that Al has already talked about. And when I was younger, my family wore this cassette tape to dust. And there's a reason that it's the highest selling album of all time. Eagles' Greatest Hits.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, I would honestly say this is probably the greatest hits album of all time. I mean, just 10 perfect songs, front to back, starting out with Take It Easy, going through Witchy Woman, Lion Eyes, Already Gone is a great driving song.
Yeah.
Desperados is one of the best ballads ever written. One of These Nights, Tequila Sunrise, Take It to the Limit is probably one of my favorite Eagles songs. Peaceful, Easy Feeling, and then closing it out with Best of My Love.
Yeah.
Great way to just kind of wind it down, and just an amazing time capsule of those first 4 Eagles albums.
It's amazing
And-
how much that album is sold, man.
Oh my God, yes.
and
And
rightfully so it should.
exactly. And there's a ton of great songs that are not on this album from those albums. But I think that if you just distill those first 4 albums down to their essence,
That's the
it's
perfect.
it's this.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
this.
I agree, man. I agree 100%, man. Yeah. Great. I mean, that's definitely in the pantheon of the greatest compilations. That's definitely got to be in there. Oh, Jerry pulls it out. Like, there we go. Let's see. Live on the air, people. This is how you do it.
Well, actually, I better not because I'm gonna look like a fucking idiot doing this.
Come on, man. Do it.
Go
Do
for
it, man. You're not gonna break it, dude.
I just showed a Poison album. Come on.
Got it? There you go. See?
Holy
Boom.
fucking shit!
Now go get a battery, Jerry.
Dude, is that battery like blown up in there?
No, it just died about a year ago. I threw it out. I mean, it's not there. Where the fuck is it? Maybe I did open this before
You had to, bro. If it's not in there,
because the battery's not in there right now.
it disintegrated.
Wait,
Everybody,
hold on.
everybody, the first disintegrating album.
My buddy Brian was fucking around with this one time. I remember it. It was him that probably did this. Did it take 1 or 2 batteries? I can't remember.
I think it's 2.
Holy shit! There's something familiar.
It looks like it
I'm
would be
getting-
2 on top of
I'm,
each
I'm
other.
getting fucking old, but I do not remember opening this. I don't.
And maybe a friend of yours did. And took it
Yeah, I
out.
think he did because he's like one of those engineer people that likes to look at everything.
This
I don't know.
album, this CD will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
No shit.
All right, man. Well,
I think
who
I
we
do
have
remember.
now? Oh, Andy.
Yeah. Don't remember.
Well, so there you go. Well, now you know, man. If you want to put batteries in it, there you go, man.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
All right, Andy. Number 3.
Number 3 or 2000. What year am I in?
I think you
Hold
were
on.
2004.
2008 now. We're in 2008 or 2009. No, let's say 2009. We go, my wife and I, and really good friends of ours, the Markentels. We went on a vacation to the Smoky Mountains, where in the town where Jerry just was this past week. We were in that same town called Townsend. And my friend Jeremy and I were jamming out in his truck just outside the cabin, hanging out. And Jeremy, him too, he's been on Black Spinner a couple of times. And he introduced me to this album. He goes, "Have you ever heard this album?" I said, I just know a couple of songs off of there, and I never really paid attention to anything else. So he said, "Well, go ahead, let's go ahead and listen to it. It's one of my favorites." I said, "All right." He threw it on, and I fell in love with it. The double guitar, the lyrics, the singing. It was just the perfect album. And I never thought it took me so long to get into this. I can't show it because I can't find it. I got the CD, but the cover is somewhere else. But it was Thin Lizzy, Jailbreak.
Oh.
I never gave it the time of day until that
Look at that, bro. You put a battery in it.
in the Smoky Mountains.
Boom.
Sorry, Andy. I don't mean to steal your thunder, but dude, this fucking makes my day, dude. Thank you, Al.
You're welcome, man.
Sorry, Andy, man. Go ahead, dude. I'm sorry.
No, I'm done. I'm glad that you were able to fix that. Because you've talked
Pretty
about
lights. Pretty lights.
So Thin Lizzy, man, Jailbreak.
Yeah, Jailbreak by Thin Lizzy is my number 4 or 2009.
It's actually we're on number 3 here. So
Okay.
all right, so number 3. My cat's sitting on my albums here. I could have went with a number of albums from this band. I mean, when you think of summer, you think of the Beach Boys, right?
Yeah.
But ultimately, I'm just going to pick a newer compilation. This is it's actually a picture. This is a beach ball.
That's
Looks
cool.
like a beach
Oh,
ball.
it's a beach ball. I always wondered what the hell that thing was.
Yeah, beach ball. So it's a beach ball. And but I mean, Endless Summer is usually like the big comp. Like that's the one. But I went with this one because I don't have Endless Summer on vinyl anyway. But I mean, this has got all the summer staples, man. California Girls, I Get Around, Be True to Your School, Good Vibrations, Help Me Rhonda, Fun. Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah.
God Only Knows, Wouldn't It Be Nice, Surfer Girl, Little Deuce Coupe, and Dance. So it's an 11-track album. How many tracks are on that one, Andy?
Oh yeah, let me see. It's a double.
Is that a double? Yeah, so there's more tracks.
It's a double, and y'all go ahead while I count.
When I was watching the documentary, it seemed like that compilation really kind of brought them back, like into popularity again.
Yeah, because it was released in the mid '70s, like
Yeah, the mid-'70s.
75.
Yeah.
They had been out of favor for years until they brought this one back out.
Then there's a whole nostalgia thing with them, like a whole new generation discovered them in the mid '70s, But yeah, this one's great. Look at the back, man. It's classic. I mean, Beach Boys is just summer to me, man. Just the ultimate. I didn't put them at number 1, but it's my number 3, top 3 definitely. My 2 and 1 means so much to me, like when I was a kid growing up. But the Beach Boys, the Beach Boys, my parents like listening to them and hearing them on the radio and all that stuff. I mean, I had to put them on there. It's definite summer music. They have an album, they have a channel on Sirius, so I throw it on there once in a while, which is great, So that's my number 3.
It's got 20 tracks on it.
20 tracks, nice. Yeah. All right, man. So number 2, Jerry.
Yeah, I was texting my friend Brian about this. It's like, yeah, I showed you that 2 years ago, man. You need to take some Prevagen.
You were probably drunk. I don't remember.
If I take some Prevagen, man. Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm glad to have reminded you. So.
Oh, dude, this is fucking the most. I'm having the fucking greatest 2 weeks ever, dude. This is top.
That's a cream of the crop.
That's like
Cherry on top.
Oh man.
All right, now we're getting the fucking girls, man. And Oh, Twisted Sister's "Stay Hungry" album was a big one for me. And
That's
girls.
another one, man. Like Pyromania, Stay Hungry.
Yeah.
Those,
Oh man, it's like that's an album. The songs from them I remember playing, just hanging out with the friends again, and getting to know a little bit about the female anatomy. And those songs, like The Price, especially, man. I mean, people dick on that song because it's not really, it's a ballad or whatever. But
It's a good song.
I have fucking great memories with that fucking song, so I don't, say anything bad about it. It's, yeah. Yeah.
He's reminiscing.
No,
he's trying to keep it PG. I know.
dude,
Hey,
it's
I'll say it for you. It's finger bang. I know.
yeah, it's figure bag. It's it's everything.
Let's just say, folks, he paid the price.
There you go. And I'm not gonna. Yeah, it was just like I said. I was
You were
tall.
growing up.
I was tall. I had broad shoulders. I was kind of in shape, so I was kind of attractive at one time. I swear. And damn, man. I mean, I don't know, dude. You guys know. You always had the first time you had girls hanging on you, dude. It's just an incredible feeling, and that's what that album fucking reminds me of. Especially The Price. I mean, yeah, great fucking. The next one's even better. My number one. So,
All right, man. Awesome story there, Jerry.
yeah. But it's not as exciting as this.
We can all relate to it, man.
This still fucking is. I'm telling you, dude. This is like I guess got $1 million right here, dude. I'm telling you, this is awesome.
Yeah, finger banging girls is great, but look at my Pink Floyd CD.
Yeah, exactly.
Look what
Yeah, you can tell when you get older, it's like things are more simpler. That gets you more happy. Yeah.
Look, guys, my Pink Floyd CD lights up, but finger banging's cool too.
Yeah.
What the fuck is
Joe.
What the fuck is Prevagen?
No
Joe.
clue. I hear it advertised.
Prevagen is a medicine for a memory.
It's
I thought
It's like
Ginkgo-
jellyfish. It's like jellyfish or something.
How
ain't
about
it?
Ginkgo
Made out of,
biloba?
I don't know.
All right, Joe.
Coming up
Come on, let's go. Number 2.
all right. So my number 2 and my number 1 were like by far the two biggest summer bands for me growing up, and it's now we talked about a lot. We even did a album battle between this and another album that came out the same year.
Oh.
And when I think of summer albums, one of the first ones that comes to mind is Scorpions' Blackout. The Scorpions are a huge summer band for me, particularly the 4 albums of this run. So Love Drive, Animal Magnetism, Blackout, and Love at First Sting. Those are like pure summer albums for me, but this album especially. So many great kind of another party kind of album. I mean, title track, No One Like You, Can't Live Without You, Give Me All I Need, Dynamite, Now, China White, amazing track, Arizona.
Yeah.
And then closing it out with When the Smoke Is Going Down, just kind of a great kind of when your party's coming to an end, and it's just kind of that like sitting around the fire reminiscing, and it's a great track for that kind of just bring everything to a close, and great summer kind of barbecue album. So Scorpions Blackout's my number 2.
Awesome.
Awesome pick, man.
All right, now we're in 2015, and we're on vacation, and we're going to Los Angeles this time. If I would have known Mark Alden Taylor then, I would have stopped by and told him hello. But hopefully I'll be able to see him in October when I go back to California. But in 2015, one of my favorite bands at the time, and still is, they're really fun. The name of the band is Dawes, Dawes. And that Friday when we were taking off, their new album popped up on my iPod. I said, "Oh, cool! I can hear this on the plane and see if I like it." Well, not only did I like it, I loved it. I would listen to it every day while I was getting ready to go venture out into LA. And that is Dawes, All Your Favorite Bands, which is a really good album. The song.
Didn't you mention them in a show a while back?
I probably did. I've talked about them quite a bit. I've seen them at least 5 or 6 times already. So I probably have mentioned them quite a bit. So Dawes with all your favorite bands. And in fact, this was one of the first albums I ever bought off of someone on Facebook.
Hmm.
I usually don't do that, but she had it for $15, so I went ahead and grabbed it. But yeah, man, this is a really good album, and I heard it this week just to make sure I was going to put it on there. And of course, I was going to put it on there because I discovered this during the summer there in LA. So Dawes with "May All Your Favorite Bands Stay Together." And one of the times I saw them, it was a weird bill. They opened up for Jeff Lynne, and that was really weird. My wife goes, "Do you want to go see Jeff Lynne? He's going to be playing some, of course, Electric Light Orchestra." I said, "Yeah, that's cool." And she's "Dawes is going to open up." I said, "Are you kidding?" Because they don't even match at all. I mean, not even close. So that was really cool. And in fact, there was this guy in front of me at the show because it was at the Toyota Center, and he was asking his friend, "Man, I've never even heard of this band." I said, "Well, I like them." So he started talking to me, and while I was talking to him about the band, I could kind of tell that he was finished hearing me talk about their career. Well, don't fucking ask me a question. You're not going to let me finish answering your question, because I was going on and on this album. I'm pretty sure you're going to hear all that. But yeah, Dawes, all your favorite bands. I try to see them every time they come to town. The only time I missed it was because I went to my niece's birthday party. But other than that, I've seen them every time they've come here. So
All right,
that's
cool.
my number 2.
All right, don't mind my cat Sawyer licking his ass back there. Anyway, all of a sudden this show's gotten sexual between Jerry's finger banging over here and
the fucking glowing light.
my cat tossing his own salad. It's
Licking ass.
Anyway, my number 2, man, wouldn't be summer without playing this album. I mean, this is just a summer staple for me. What you were talking about, great compilations. I mean, to me, this is right up there, one of the greatest compilations. That's Bob Marley Legend. I mean, to me, this in the summertime in the backyard in this pool, grilling, whatever. You throw on a Bob Marley, throw on this one, man, and just. I mean, I could easily throw on Exodus and Catch a Fire, but as far as compilations goes, this is about as perfect as you can get, man. Too, and it's just such a summer staple for me, and "Steer It Up" is like one of my favorite songs. I mean, it just brings out like a good feeling for me, man, like a great vibe, and it just makes you feel good. We were in a car the other day, and Three Little Birds came on, and I remember when my daughter was really little, Nickelodeon used to have like a little cartoonish video of Bob Marley's Three Little Birds, and she would just sit there and like stare at the TV and was mesmerized. And then as the years went on, like when she would hear that song, she'd be like, I know this song, and it came on the radio the other day, and she was singing along to it, which was great. So she still has that young memory of like hearing that song, Three Little Birds. Of course, I shot the Sheriff, Waiting in Vain, Redemption Song, and then all the hits. So, but yeah, this is my number 2, man. I can't live without this one, man. The summer. So
I've never heard that album before.
Did you guys see the movie?
You gotta be kidding me, Andy.
I've never heard it before. Honest to God, I've never heard it. I've got it on CD, but I've never played it.
Legend by Bob Marley. Wow.
Bob Marley. I've got it because I was able to buy for cheap, but I've never heard it.
Wow.
Did y'all see the movie?
I have not.
I have not seen the movie.
It was okay. It wasn't great, but it was okay.
All right.
The guy that played him was really good, but yeah.
Well, listen,
All right,
man. Well, we're at number 1 here, Andy.
Here we go. This is our top pick, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls.
Number 1, Jerry, man. What do you got, brother?
The album that I was listening to when I first, you know what,
Jerry.
first got it in, let's just say that.
You graduated from finger banging.
Thank
He's
you.
moving up in the world, folks.
Hey, let me fan myself here.
Well, I'm trying to be PG here.
No,
you know,
I
I'm just,
say when you hit a home run. But
thank you, David. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Alex, for fucking Van Halen 2.
Oh yeah.
We used to, like I said, we used to have a houseboat in summer on it in Cincinnati. We used to go down the Ohio River. Yes, I actually swam in that fucking shitty ass river. But we used to park on the side, or just shore up and camp for the night there. And we had another friend, that went with us. My friend of my parents, who had 2 daughters and a son, that became really close. And one of the daughters I got really close with that night, and it was just an amazing time, an amazing feeling, dude. It's nothing. It's just so cool, dude. When you mentioned this, that was the first thing I was thinking of, are albums with memories, dude. And to me, that was one of my best memories as a teenager, man, in my life. It was just a fantastic fucking time. And got it out of the wrapper.
And after that, you weren't out of love again.
we're gonna have to get another podcast called Jerry's Hotline or something.
Bottoms up.
Bottoms up.
Hey, was she a beautiful girl?
She was hot, and I still talk to her. Actually, she's that person I still talk to. So, yeah, I mean,
Well, hopefully, no one needed to get you a doctor after that.
and she was the aggressive. Well, I don't want to talk. I don't want to get her in trouble, but she was the aggressive one. I wasn't. I know what the fuck I was.
After that, you were almost DOA. But anyway,
yeah, I thought I knew what I was doing back then.
Did you have to use any Spanish fly?
I was thinking about it. Yeah, I mean,
he saw
she told me
fireworks. After that, he saw fireworks that light up the sky.
And 20 years later, she's like, "You're no good." I mean,
Maybe she was just a woman in love.
Yeah, but it Dance the Night Away. That's why it's still my favorite Van Halen. It's my favorite Van Halen album.
But then after that, she told you you're no good. I'm joking, bro.
Hey, man, I probably was. I'm sure none of us were. I mean, it lasted like 15 minutes, which I think is pretty good for a first time. I think, but I don't know.
Thank you, Michael Lynch.
Those damn
Van
puns.
Halen 2 would be my number 1, but not for the same reasons. I was too young.
Yeah, dude. It's funny, man. Like, it's when I was, Van Halen was the first band that popped in my head with this list. And it's like, what the fuck? Which album am I gonna pick? Because there's so many that you could choose from. I have different memory. I mean, I could have went with what we were talking about last week, 1984. The summer of 1984 that album was huge for me in that summer. But ultimately, I went with the 5150 and Eat 'Em and Smile as a tie, because the summer of '86. I mean, I was old enough I was starting to go to concerts and things like that. So the memories of going out to Jersey Shore, that's why I ultimately picked those. But I mean, shit, man, I can throw a dart and pretty much pick almost any Van Halen album, But Van Halen 2 definitely has a very high summer vibe, man.
Yeah.
So great pick, man. Joe,
Thanks.
number 1.
Well, you just said it. I don't. You didn't know if you could pick one, so I did.
The whole thing.
I picked the whole thing.
The whole 6-pack. There you go.
I couldn't. Originally it was Van Halen 2. Originally it was Van Halen 2 on my list, was my number 1.
That's very clever.
And then I just immediately, well, what about that's leaving out Van Halen 1? And then my mind jumps to Fair Warning, and then my mind jumps to 84, and then it jumps to Women and Children
Down.
First, and then it jumps to Divers Down, and I couldn't. Every single one of these CDs is the perfect summer album.
Yeah.
Front to back, all 6 discs in this box set.
And you can hear all those albums in about 3 hours.
Exactly. You sit down for a party with some friends. You could go through this entire box set, and that's your party right there.
Yeah.
And perfect summer party music. They were a party band. I mean,
yeah.
The best American band ever. Really
like I said, it was originally Van Halen 2 was my number 1, but it would just be doing a disservice to leave out those other amazing albums that all have such a continuity between all of them. It's just it's the 6-pack. It's just if you're gonna have
Hey, listen, man, that's very ingenious of you.
Yeah. Hey, if you're gonna have a 6-pack of beer at your party, you might as well have a 6-pack of Van Halen too. So.
The ultimate 6-pack of albums. There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome, man. All right, bravo.
Very nice.
So far, Jerry, Van Halen 2, Joseph had the 5 up 6 up on that one with the 6-pack. Andy, what do you got, brother?
It's not going to be Van Halen, unfortunately, but I'm still in 2015. I'm still in Los Angeles. I always go record shopping at every city I go on vacation.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of my I always forget this word. That's kind of
That's your
like
thing.
my
That's your thing, man. It's your
yeah. So it was getting late. The record store was about to close. I was at a Moby Records.
Amoeba.
Thank you. You always help me out
That's
with
okay.
that. I always mispronounce it. Amoeba. And it's there on Hollywood Boulevard. And they were about to close. I couldn't find anything. I said, you know what? I'll just take this. At least I got some kind of memento from LA. And this made me a fan of
I know
band.
exactly the one you're gonna pick.
Yeah. And I was about to walk out, but I went ahead and grabbed it. I brought it home, and I loved it. Kiss Alive.
I knew it, man. You talked about that in another show.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I was never a Kiss fan, until I heard Alive, and it changed my whole outlook on them. And now I've got almost everything, well, all the studio albums by them. But this is where it started for me, was on Kiss Alive, because I went to that record store that was almost closing. It was almost like 11 o'clock, which was 1 o'clock my time here, and I'll just grab this, and it still has a price tag on it. Does anyone want to guess how much I paid for this?
$2.
No, 3.
There you go.
But still, so good. I was so pleased when I got home. So, Kiss Alive.
Awesome. All right, my number one, and I don't have it on vinyl, so I have a CD of it. It's packed away in my storage unit somewhere, so I'll just say I'm sure one of you guys have it. It's in the Van Halen vein. It's David Lee Roth. It's actually an EP. It's the Crazy from the Heat EP. Okay, it's only 4 songs, but to me, because I associate, my older brother got that cassette, and I remember that EP came out in early '85. I think it was January of '85 that was released. So it had time to build. So in that summer of '85, that was big for Dave. Those videos, the EP. I went to Portugal that year. So me and my older brother, a couple of cousins, we all went to Portugal that summer. We were there for probably like 6 weeks. So pretty much almost the whole summer we were in Portugal. And my brother bought his case of cassettes with him, and we had a boom box and everything. And I remember just being, in 1985, I was, there you go, man. Thank you. Just Dave out in the water, beautiful blue, green, clear water. And being in Portugal, at the time I was 13 years old. So summer of '85, 13. I remember we were on the beach, man. It was like the sun was setting, and my brother had that cassette on, and it was just like the perfect, like just staring at the waves in the beautiful beaches of Portugal, and listening to that. To me, that's the ultimate like summer album to me, man. It just brings back so many good memories of growing up. And the sleeper track on there for me that I love is the last one, Coconut Grove. I love that song, man. That's a Loving Spoonful cover, but Dave made that his own, obviously, just like he did California Girls and all that. Dude, I love that.
Excuse me.
The soothing feeling of that, it brings me right back to being a 13-year-old on a beach in Portugal. Whenever I hear that song, to me, that's like the ultimate, man. So I went with an EP, 4 songs. That's all I need, bro. Crazy from the Heat by David Lee Roth is my number 1. So,
awesome.
Yeah. So it's almost in the Van Halen favor. The 3 of us had a Van Halen thing, even though it's David Lee Roth, but David Lee Roth is Van Halen anyway. So pretty much.
There you go.
But Gene Simmons did find Van Halen.
That is true. That is true.
He did sign him first. Yeah, it's true, man. He didn't get him signed, but he did.
No, but he
tried
brought
his
him to the
hardest.
table.
Yeah.
He brought him to the table.
Yeah.
Yep.
And did you ever hear those Gene Simmons demos yet, Andy? You got to pull them
No.
up, man. Yeah,
No,
check them out.
Zero
man.
demos. Honestly, and this is what people don't give him enough credit for. There's a lot of like what ended up on Van Halen 1, like production wise, that was Gene Simmons's like what he did. He's the one that got them to put the car horn at the beginning of Running with the Devil.
Yeah,
He's the one that got them to arrange some of the songs a certain way
yeah,
that would eventually be how they'd appear on the albums that were different from earlier demos that they had done.
yeah.
And so
I'll
he
check
really
those
had
out.
a lot of influence on how they ended up sounding and how their first album especially ended up being produced. So just as much as Ted Templeman and Don Landy had a hand in making them sound like that, a lot of those production decisions that would eventually be made were things that Gene Simmons had suggested.
Oh wow.
Yeah. All right, man. So that's our list, man. You have any honorables you want to run down?
I have a couple.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I have Don Henley's "Building the Perfect Beast" album.
Good one. Good
A
one.
lot of great memories watching Friday night videos with my friends before the Headbangers Ball era. I remember those. I mean, just that album was, Sunset Grill, Not Enough Love in the World, Boys of Summer. I mean, just fucking great radio hits, man. All she wants to do is dance. That's a fucking great song.
Yeah,
That is.
so much
I mean,
fun.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a great album. Anyway, I have two Styx albums, The Grand Illusion. The Grand Illusion, my sister had that, and I had High and Dry. And I traded her because I really loved Styx. I traded her High and Dry for Styx The Grand Illusion. I remember wearing that out on the houseboat during that summer, couple summers. I don't know which summer it was, but I have Physical Graffiti by Zeppelin because when I moved to California with my dad for the first time, it was the first thing he got me, and it was during the summer. All I had was a regular tape player, with the little red record button, just a typical. Yeah. And I wore that, cassette out, listening to that one, and another Styx Paradise Theater. Came across that one in the summer too with my sister. Just hanging out at her house because I got in trouble doing something wrong with the house. I got booted over to her house, and I'm still amazed by the backside of the album, how cool that is. That laser etching of Styx on the back of it.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just really fucking cool. And that's it. That's all I got. Just, thank you for this great topic, man. This is a lot of fun.
No
Yeah,
problem,
thanks,
man. Joe, what do you got, bro? You got anything?
Yeah, so a couple that you guys had mentioned, Kiss Alive was originally on my list. Like I mentioned, Moving Pictures, Synchronicity, a couple albums like that. The first Boston album, Metal Ben just said that. That one I'm really excited to talk about tomorrow. That's the only reason I didn't include it on my list today is that we're going to be talking about it tomorrow. But the one that it just is such a personal memory for me, and it is not a summer album whatsoever. But it's just brings up such personal memories to me of sitting. This is an album that my dad really got me into, and it's such a strange album. When we go talking about all this like classic rock and stuff, it's Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Brain Salad Surgery.
Okay.
Really kind of like prog rock, especially let your imagination kind of run wild. And anytime I think of that album, I just think of sitting out on a front porch in the middle of summer during a thunderstorm and listening to some of that like creepy music like Toccata and parts of Carnival 9. And it just really makes me think of that kind of time, even though it's not necessarily like a party album or anything, or even really it's not a summer themed album. But except for like that one part of Carnival 9 where they go into like the Jamaican music in the middle of Carnival, not like the second part of Carnival 9. But yeah, that album really is kind of like a summer album for me, but not in the same way as everything else on my list. So it's just an honorable mention for me.
Joe really didn't want to admit that it was Love Beach, but
yeah, Al got me. The album cover, it does something to me. Seeing those three very attractive prog musicians on a beach.
Oh man, that album gets so much shit, man. For that.
Whoever told them that album cover was a good idea is just needs.
I mean, there's some. Look at that Orleans album cover. That's the worst, man.
Oh, that is bad. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Andy, what do you got, man? You got a few?
Yeah, I got a couple. I didn't know which Beach Boys album to pull out. I could have gone so many different ways, but I love this album. It's so much fun to listen to. Beach Boys Party.
Oh, I have that one on vinyl too.
It's just so good. It sounds like they're actually at a party because you can hear chatter in the background. And it's very loose playing. It
Yeah.
sounds like they're having a party inside their house, and there's people chit chatting. And the songs on here, there's not that many songs that we would know that much, except for medley. I Get Around, Little Deuce Coupe, but they do a cover of The Times That Are Changing. They do Barbara Ann on here. But side one, they do a cover of I Should Have Known Better and Tell Me Why and You Gotta Hide Your Love Away. All Beatle tracks that they were goofing around on.
Nice.
And they do it so good. This one here, I moved into my own apartment here in Houston in 2001. And this album during that summer played a lot. And what do you eat during the summertime? Well, you eat a peach,
Oh,
watermelon,
Yeah.
and of course, Eat a Peach by the great Almond
look,
Brothers.
that's one of my honorables too, man.
Yeah, it's a great album.
I was thinking about Fillmore East on my list.
Yeah,
and,
I love Allman Brothers in the summer, man.
and this was already mentioned by Joe.
Yeah, I got that one too, man.
Let's Go Graffiti.
Yeah,
And it's just a great album. I wish I could find this on CD so that I can hear it in the car. But
American Graffiti.
yeah,
yeah, he said physical graffiti.
did I really? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. American Graffiti. American Graffiti. Such a wonderful, wonderful compilation, double album.
Yeah.
I mean, all these songs are ingrained in your head ever since you were a kid. Just the whole American lifestyle of summer, and all these songs are all there. And you're so right, Joe, about spending time with family and listening to these kind of songs. You know, it's really good pop rock for back in the day. And I think that's all that I have. Wait a minute, let me look through my list. That's all that I pulled out, but I might have something else in here. That is Grease, of course.
My wife
That
mentioned
was-
my wife mentioned that one.
That
So
was
I-
one that was on my long list as well.
I was telling her about the topic, and she like Tina was like, for me, Grease, like Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell. I really love that one.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
That was one I was thinking of too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's it for me.
That just reeks of summer, man. That out of
Oh,
hell,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Damn.
all right, man. So I got a couple. I mean, this is the Van Halen I put on my. But Joe, man, with like Joe said, you can't go wrong with the 6-pack. Joe already mentioned this one, Pyromania. Abbey Road for me, man. I love Abbey Road. That's just, to me, that's like a summertime album to me. One of my wife's favorites, but I do love it too. Duran Duran Rio. That's a definite summerish album. Run DMC Raising Hell. I that's such a summer album for me too.
Yeah, that kind of
Yeah.
goes hand in hand with the License to Ill.
Yeah. That goes hand in hand with that. Gets Gilberto, Girl from Ipanema, Brazilian bossa nova, dude.
Uh-huh.
You know, that's definitely summertime vibes. I grew up with Portuguese music in the household, so that was kind of one of the things too. 4 and 4. I already had one of their compilations, but this is a great one too. Aerosmith Permanent Vacation. I don't have a hard copy of that. Christopher Cross's first album, The Definition of Yacht Rock, dude.
Yeah.
I Christopher Cross the first, and I should have had him on my top 10, honestly, to be honest with you, but I put him on here. REM's Green. I think of that in the summer too for some reason. I love that album, and I throw it on in the summertime. It's one of my favorite REM albums, actually. Green.
It's mine too. Yep.
You know, and that's pretty much it, man. I mean, those are all my honorables. I mean, I know I went over 5, but fuck it, dude. I just ran through them. We always say
All right.
10 plus 5, but we always
Right.
just,
Whatever. I only did 4, so I was one short. So
I made up for a few of you.
there
so.
you go. Yeah.
Well, that's
Hey,
it, man. That's the show.
I had 6 albums at my number 1.
There you go. Here's another good one too that I love in the summer. Is Kicks Blow My Fuse.
Yeah.
I love that.
I was thinking about just a special one for me is the first Kicks album. I was thinking about
Yeah.
putting that on my list.
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah, definitely Blow My Fuse is a great one as well.
yeah. I remember.
I won't mention anything about Kicks right now. The abuse I get for that, like in the second album. It's like,
No,
It's not a great album. The second album is not great.
what? Which one are you talking about?
Cool Kids.
Cool Kids.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but you didn't like
you
didn't like
Midnight
Dynamite either, dude. And I was like, that scratched my head a bit.
No, there's one. I think I like Cool Kids. That's what I can't remember.
No, you don't like
I-
Midnight
I-
Dynamite.
Midnight
The one that
Dynamite was
the one that we
That's the
reviewed
third
in
album.
Freeform. Okay,
That's the
third
third
album.
album.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I love that album too. Anyway, that's the
Great
show for
album
today,
cover,
Andy.
too.
Yeah, I love, dude.
But
It's
I
great
fucking
album.
love Blow My Fuse. And what was the one afterwards? I love that one too.
Hot
I
Wire.
Hot Wire.
I love those two fucking albums, dude. Absolutely. Thanks.
Yeah. Andy, what do we got on the show next week, dude?
Yeah, next week we're going to
Interview, right?
very, very special guest. We're going to interview Robert Lawson. We crossed paths on Facebook, and he wrote a book. This is his fourth book that's associated with rock. He's got a book coming out at the end of the summer called "Solidarity Forever: The Art and Soul of Stevie Van Zandt." We all know Stevie
cool.
Van Zandt
Yeah.
from Bruce Springsteen East Street Band, also an actor when he was on The Sopranos. So we're gonna have Mr. Lawson here on the Black Spinner Circle talking about the new book and talking
Awesome.
about his interactions with Stevie Van Zandt, also known as Little Steven. So we're gonna talk to him and we're gonna interview him about the book, and we're very excited to have him on our show. It's going to be a very special show next week. So we're
He's,
looking forward to that.
He's done a great book on another band too.
Oh, really? Because I was going to ask him what.
We'll
other
have to
bands
mention
he
that
has
one, too.
books on.
Yeah.
I have a signed hardback copy of his Nazareth book that he
Oh,
signed.
really? Really? Oh, okay, cool. You want to be
Yeah.
on with us next week then?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Let me think. Next when I'll get back to you.
Okay,
my
just
work
so that you
work
can
schedule's a
talk to him
little
about
weird.
That, you know,
Yeah.
so that we could promote him also as a rock journalist.
Yeah,
So,
his other
let me
three
know.
that he's done a Nazareth one, he's done a
Yeah.
Cheap Trick one, and he's done a Guess Who.
Oh, okay, and now a little Stevie Van Zandt. So,
Yep.
so it'd be great if since you know his work, it'd be wonderful to ask him questions about that.
If you can make it, you can make it. It's cool.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I think I should be able to, but next
Thank you,
week is
Metal
the anniversary of the Battle of Gettysburg, so my work schedule is all over the place.
Yeah,
Working at the
summer over
museum,
there,
so
at the
working
museum.
at the museum,
I
so
understand.
yeah.
Thank you, Ben.
Thanks a lot, Ben.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the show for tonight. Thank you, Jerry, for being on and getting that battery working again.
This made it all worthwhile. This is the highlight
There
of the
it
night. I'm just kidding, dude.
And so are all of us going to be on tomorrow night? Mark
Yes.
and Jerry show?
I'm going to be on
Yep.
too, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
be
gonna
on.
be a blast, man. It's one of
Oh,
my
yeah.
favorite albums, and not a
Check us
bad
out on the
song.
BS
Yeah,
sessions.
yeah, not a bad song on it. So
Yeah.
we'll see how this goes, rank wise.
So if you want some more of us, you can catch us tomorrow on the BS sessions with Mark and Jerry.
And Jerry, man, anything else you got coming up in the pipeline?
Yeah, we do have a Leonard Skinner show coming up on 3 Shots Down. I'm not gonna be able to do it next week, but the week afterwards, I'll get together with you and Kate later in the week about that. We need to get that going. I'm sorry, I've had a lot of stuff going on.
No, man.
Still doing the Freeform Rock podcast. We got some great fucking shows lined up in the pipe, man.
Yeah.
Coming up, and the BS sessions every Thursday night. Fun show. It's one of my favorite shows because I don't have to be serious on it. That's why I love it so much. I can be drunk and a goofball on it. That's why I love it so much. But and I'm off Friday, so I'll be able to drink and not have to rush everybody. So that's going to be fun.
Nice.
Maybe we'll hear a little bit more of Jerry's sexcapades tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'm thinking these guys don't want to hear about fucking what my schlong has been. I mean, really?
Boston?
On that note,
But I mean, come on, that's part of
growing up.
summertime growing up is
Yeah.
getting laid for the
It
first
really
time,
is.
man. It really is.
Especially when it relates to good albums. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe, man, you got anything, man? Any comments?
no.
Anything?
Yes, actually, a Friday night, I'm going to see Hootie and the Blowfish and Collective Soul.
Oh, my wife wants
I
to go
love
to that so
Collective
bad,
Soul.
dude. Michael, thank you,
Yeah.
man. Thanks for being on.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
so I'm excited for that show, especially to see Collective Soul. I'm excited to see
love
Hootie and the
Collective Soul.
Blowfish.
I
But
do like Hootie and the
I'm,
Blowfish.
I'm a little upset. Collective Soul's only playing like 9 songs or something like
Oh,
that.
really?
I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I wish they would have playing a little bit more, especially when like half of Hootie and the Blowfish set list is like covers and stuff. So I'm like, so you guys are playing like 25 songs, but Collective Soul's only playing like 9. I'm like, but I'm excited for that. And then coming up next month, I have the Foo Fighters coming up, and then Chicago and Earth, Wind, and Fire. So I got a couple good shows, and then I know there's some stuff bands are starting to announce fall shows, so I'm getting some stuff lined up for the fall. But yeah, got a couple coming up here, and then of course tomorrow night we're all going to be on the BS sessions talking about the amazing debut album from Boston.
Yeah.
So it'll be a fun time. So yeah, thanks so much for having me on. This is a great topic.
I'm going to see Alan Parsons' project on Sunday. I'm looking forward to that.
Dude.
Oh yeah, I'm going to be at
Really?
Sunday.
I'm
Where you gonna be,
so
Andy?
jealous.
Andy, where are you going to be?
At Doobie Brothers Sunday night.
Oh, cool.
I got them coming up next month.
Yeah, with Michael McDonald. I've never seen Michael McDonald, so that's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thanks for everybody being on the show. That's it for tonight. Andy,
Yep.
you got anything to add?
Oh, yes. I wanted to thank everybody with all of their messages and all the responses. So thank you, Michael Lynch. Thank you, Metal Ben. And thank you, Jimmy James. Thank you so much for watching us and interacting with us. We love it 100%. So thank y'all so much for that.
Well, and that's it for tonight, man. So you guys have a great night. Peace out.
Thank you, guys, man. Appreciate it for the invite, man.
And get that summer vibe, man. You know, put on your favorite summer tunes. Actually, yeah, on my Be Cool Be podcast out the Facebook, I'm doing a summer song every day. I started off at the very first day of summer. I'm gonna go all through the summer, post a song of the day until the last day of summer. So every day is gonna be a new song. You know, there's plenty to choose from. So it's gonna cover a lot of different stuff. So thanks for tuning in.
Yep, and also, guys, when y'all watch this, we gave y'all 40 plus summer albums. You got 3 months to go through these albums, and believe me, all these albums are top notch, and they might spark up some long lasting memories like they did for us. All right, good night, guys.
Have a great
Take
night,
care, guys. Thank you.
Later.
There, guys. I'll see
See
you
ya.
tomorrow.
You got it, man.
See you tomorrow.
My mouse ain't even fucking working.